is. So I hit live right now. Go live.
GTG, sir. Says live on all, good to go. Oh, we lost our little chat box. Oh man, gosh, it's so loud. Oh my God, turn this. You had to have your mic on or your headset on so you knew what we were doing. Good Lord, that was loud. Holy cow.
Where do I go to the chat? Oh,
where do you go to the chat? Yeah, chat's right over there. Yeah, you're good to go, baby.
Sweet.
We're good to go, baby. We're here. What's going on, everybody? I don't even have my restream up, so if anyone's gonna comment on my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube,
no.
I don't want to see it. Just come over to the TikTok. What's going on, everybody? We're
Good
live.
morning, guys.
You want to close that door for me?
Yeah,
Keep all the air conditioning nice and locked in here.
Should we shut that off?
Yeah. Actually, you can hit the power button on that while we're at it.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. It is Friday, which means Scott and I are live on not just TikTok this morning. We're live on multiple platforms. Hello, TikTok. Hello, Instagram. Hello, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, even Twitch. What's going on, guys? We are live and we are rocking and rolling. We are on our live call show, which we do weekly about housing and finance, about the next generation of housing and finance. Because there's another generation of homeowners on the way, baby.
A whole new generation.
Whole new generation. Can you introduce yourself real quick while I get my music rocking and rolling, dude?
Yes, sir. For those that don't know me, my name's Scott Betley. I'm commonly known as that mortgage guy online.
Ooh, I like that.
And Zach and I had this idea to create this live morning show to spread financial literacy.
Don't give me credit.
Oh my gosh.
I just don't want you to lie live on social media.
But it wouldn't have been possible without you. I mean, I don't know how to make all this
good
happen,
morning,
so.
Jordan. Everybody in the chat, say a good morning, say a what's up. We'll try to get back to everybody. Of course, I have the TikTok chat up for me. I know Scott's got all of his chats up in front of him.
Yeah,
so what's going on, Zach? My guy. My guy's been here for a minute. I love my boy Zach. Let me get some BBL Drizzy rolling in the background real quick, and then I'm just going to be rocking and rolling. I'll get off my phone, and we're going to be hosting some calls today. We got the number on the screen that is going to be live and callable here in about 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah, about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes. Let me find BBL Drizzy that's not that. Gosh, that was bad. How was your week, dude?
It was good.
Fantastic.
It was good. How about yours?
It was... I mean, if it was any better, I'd be twins, dude. It was fantastic. Good. I'd have to split into two. Can we talk finance, though?
Yeah.
I want to get into it. What's new in the finance world that we immediately need to talk about? New to the world. I know we have FHA updates.
Yeah.
Different terms of how things can be gifted.
Yeah.
In terms of first-time home buyers, this is a big deal. And those that are looking to get into a home, I'd say by 2025.
Yep.
Good information to stash away, plug away in the brain, and just know about.
Yep.
And stuff that you can operate on. I also want to talk about, we have some inflationary data that's going to be coming up soon.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to do some drastic things to interest rates. But I'll hold tight on that one for right now.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll touch on that. But yeah, there's been some updates to FHA guidelines as of last week. So previously, lenders needed to source any non-payroll deposits that were over 1% of the purchase price. That has now changed so that anything larger than 50% of their total monthly gross income is okay.
You're going to have to slow that down for me.
Yeah.
So say that one more time.
So previously, lenders needed to source non-payroll deposits going into your bank account that were over 1% of the purchase price.
Okay, so for example, if I'm buying a $400,000 home,
yep.
If I got more than $4,000 not from my job,
correct,
in just a month or at a time,
just a random deposit.
Just a random deposit.
Yep.
So if I get my OnlyFans deposit of $4,200, you're gonna have to be like, yo, Zach, what is this? And I got to tell you.
Yeah,
that stinks.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
So I should only make $3,900.
Well, with large deposits, traditionally we had to source those.
Good morning, everybody.
Now that has changed. So anything larger than 50% of the total gross monthly income of the borrower then has to be sourced. So, for instance, if you're making $10,000 a month, and sorry, I'm having a call here, and the deposit is over $5,000, then we would have to source that deposit. And then as far as gift funds are concerned, that has also been updated. So in the past, a lender always had to document gift funds with a copy of the bank statement from the donor. That's no longer the case. There's a couple different things.
Copy of the bank statement of the owner.
Of the donor.
Donor.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, so
I thought you said owner. That's
Dad's giving you $30,000 for the house.
I wish.
You know, and
shout out Dad.
You got a deposit coming in from Dad. We used to have to get a gift letter and then a copy of Dad's bank statement showing that he had the funds in his bank to give to you to source the funds and show the trail of funds. Now that's not the case. So the new rules allow for the donor to provide one of the following: the donor's bank statement showing evidence of the withdrawal and the deposit going to the borrower's account, a copy of the donor's canceled check front and back.
How's this different from what it was? Good morning, Kimberly. Good morning, Ethan. We got a lot of people saying good morning. I'm not saying it back, and I feel bad.
Hey, what's up, guys?
We'll get to everybody, I promise.
No, so mainly right there, I mean, a copy of the donor's canceled check. So if we can get a copy of the canceled check, that's it. We no longer need a copy of Dad's bank statement, which is a big deal because I've had so many borrowers who are like, my dad doesn't want to.
So now instead of them having to get an actual look into all of Dad's transactions,
correct.
Now we just need like a check from his bank account proving his name is attached to the account.
Yes, just a canceled check.
Okay, got you. So if Dad's doing weird stuff and he doesn't want the bank to know about it, he can still gift you that money for the house.
Yeah,
that's good.
Got a little grayer.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love a little gray. Gray's play.
Yep.
There's playful area in the gray area. So, guys, good morning. I want to know where you're from. If you're in the chat, jump in real fast. Double tap the screen also if you're on TikTok, Instagram, and especially if you're on TikTok, comment where you're from. I'm from Milford, Delaware. We're sitting in Dover, Delaware. My man over here, Eastern Shore.
Eastern Shore of Maryland.
The Eastern Shore. What's the one thing you don't like about the Eastern Shore of Maryland?
The bugs.
The bugs.
Dude, the horseflies, the mayflies.
Horseflies are the worst. Good morning from Oklahoma. Good morning. Good morning from Jordan, Chestertown, Maryland. David out there in Florida. What's up, David?
What's
Good
up,
morning. Jordan out there in Chestertown, Maryland. That's right around where you're at, right?
Yeah, that's Eastern Shore.
Similar-ish?
It's probably like an hour and a half for me. But
so wait, where are you at specific? What city are you in?
So it's Quantico.
Which like Quantico Bay?
Yeah, Quantico, Maryland.
Yeah,
nobody.
That's where that's where the FBI is, right? Cleveland, Ohio. What's
I don't
up?
think so.
You're drinking Alani. I love those. Yeah, I haven't popped it open, but it's there if I want it. It's there if I want it.
But no, we're like 35 minutes southwest of Salisbury, so just out in the boondocks.
I love that.
Yeah,
but you got like a bunch of acres.
Yeah, I mean we have 28 acres, but I want to say only like 10 of them are usable. It's mainly like marshlands and wetlands, so we can't touch it or develop it or anything. So
I hear you. Yes, we are taking calls, and the lines are going to open in 4 minutes at 9:10 exactly. If you want to be first in line on the lines, send over a call at 9:10 Eastern is when the lines are going to open up for you to be able to call in. Housing, finance, no real direct set question today as to what you got to call in about. We want to hear what your position is, whether in the investing world, wealth building world, for the next generation. If you're old, that's dope.
Yeah.
But this show is designed for the Gen Z, younger millennial, to travel through this financial world, which is rough as hell right now for a lot.
Yeah. Well, we talk about it every week. This is something we should be taught in school.
Oh my God.
And we're not, and so we're all
we can talk about that all day.
Floundering, trying to find correct information on the internet, decipher what's right and what's wrong.
Well, the internet, I feel, has changed every way, like how we should treat schooling as a whole. Don't you feel?
Oh, 100%.
Like there's so much available to us now. We don't necessarily need to know/memorize everything because all the information is available to us. Like it's important to know history. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But when I was learning history in third grade, what do you learn about in third grade? George Washington, shit like that.
I don't even know.
Abraham Lincoln.
It's a good question.
Something about cutting down a cherry tree, which never happened, by the way.
Right.
But all that at the time, if I wanted to learn about that, I would, it's either pass down knowledge, go to the library, read an encyclopedia, that's my options. Now it could be 2 a.m. and I could just Google George Washington. And I could learn way more than I ever learned in school in an hour 45 or even like 20 minutes cramming.
Now I talk to my little brother. I don't know if you know this. I have a 14-year-old brother who's going in.
You have a 14-year-old brother?
Yeah, I have a 14-year-old brother, an 18-year-old sister, and 20-year-old sister. But my 13-year-old brother.
How old are you?
I am 32. My mom remarried. So,
18-year difference.
Yeah, I was 18 years old when my brother was born. It was pretty nuts.
God bless your mom.
I got my hands wet changing diapers. I was definitely prepped to be a dad.
Yeah.
Because I had that whole experience.
Absolutely.
So it was good. But nonetheless, I talked to him and I'm like, man, like, how's school? He's like, man, I use AI all the time. He's just like, he's plugging all his questions in the AI. And
Yeah.
I'm like, man.
Well, is AI the reason we should be relooking at how our education system's treated, how finance education's treated? Because I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
Financial education is important, but with all other things becoming kind of a little less important,
Right.
why aren't we learning about how to utilize AI in school? That'd be awesome. But I mean, for decades, we've lacked financial literacy, financial education, how to actually run a household financially.
Right.
How to treat a financial profit and loss sheet within the home.
Right.
Just create a balance sheet. Do you
Yeah.
know how to do that? Do you know what an asset is classified as? Do you know how to what diversification is and why to do it?
Yeah.
If you had money to invest, do you know what to invest in? Why not? What are the pros? What are the cons? Long term, short term. We don't get taught any of that. And anybody could benefit from that. Whether you have $50, $500, or $50,000,
So
you
true.
can benefit from that largely.
Yeah.
Could I ask you something?
Yeah. Fire away.
Do you think there's more people that are broke today, not because they don't have the ability to take on and gain money, but because they don't know how to treat the money that they have?
Oh, 100%.
They don't know. And why is it though? So hear me out on this. If I don't go to the gym and I look like I don't go to the gym, I'm not going to walk up to somebody and give someone fitness advice or proclaim that I am fit. That's obvious. And it's easy to tell. You look at somebody, if they start, you're like,
Well,
what are
meanwhile,
talking-
you see personal trainers that are that. It's like, man, come
different subject.
on. So, yeah.
But there's not many people that will tell you I'm financially unfit.
True.
Right? Almost every single person thinks to themselves, I am financially fit. I make good financial decisions. I know what I'm doing. When almost none of the people that are doing that are taking any opportunity, like the people who are even taking a moment to watch this, by the way, to educate, to learn, to know how the world works, how money works, how it moves, why the big money moves the way it does.
Yeah.
Like, it all matters because I really, truly feels like it reprograms your brain and how to look at money.
Totally.
And then things just move differently.
Yeah.
And that sounds woo-woo, but that's it. Whoa, HH Progressive. Thank you for all the shares. Jeez. Anybody double tapping on the live or sharing on the live, appreciate you highly. You're already our best friend. And if you're viewing this on any platform where you can share this to somebody who is in that next upcoming generation of wealth building, we're about to start taking calls. We're about to start hearing real life scenarios and advice given to those real life scenarios on what they should do with their finances. And again, we're not financial advisors.
No.
We're simply people who have been in the mortgage world and the real estate world combined over 2 decades. And between the two of us, I mean, we're running teams that are doing a lot of transactions.
A lot.
We're seeing a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different things pan out financially, good and
We're
bad.
getting our first call, but I think we
Live
have
show.
it on.
Oh, we still have it forwarding to
we
your
have it.
number.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let me reset that real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to reset something real fast on the old computer. In fact, could I just pull it up on yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just pull it up on your laptop. Let me switch that up. BBL Drizzy.
go.
There we go. Let me get this hooked up over here.
One moment, guys. We're getting the live show number forwarded
that's no
to the
problem.
right phone.
In the chat real quick, can you ask any question you want of Scott? Literally anything, and he has to answer.
Yep.
Creative Chaos just followed. He has entered to win a home. Congratulations.
Creative Chaos.
Creative Chaos. What a good name.
I like that.
I like that name. I feel like my life could be slightly defined in a variation of like controlled chaos and variations. Creative chaos.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, not controlled chaos.
Least favorite food.
Least favorite food.
I love food.
Come on,
I
don't
know,
do
I'm trying to
that.
think, I'm
Don't
trying
do
to
that.
think.
There's something I could throw in front of you that you're just gonna be like, absolutely
I'm
not.
going to say probably Chinese food.
Really?
Yeah.
I rock with that. There's high sodium.
I like Chinese food, but
It's just not your favorite.
I can't eat it all the time. It makes me feel
Well,
like
I mean,
crap.
yeah, you feel like crap. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
But,
all, I mean, the sodium and the soy sauce and all that, it's just heavy.
McNeely, what's the fastest way to pay off your mortgage?
That's a good one.
I would say, there's a couple different ways to go about that. They've got biweekly payment schedules where, you make an extra mortgage payment each year and it trims off anywhere from 5 to 6 years off your loan term. You could also take the standpoint of, pricing at a 15-year mortgage and going with the 30-year mortgage, but making the 15-year payments like you would on a 15-year. And that way it puts you in a position where if you're in a tougher financial position or something happens in life where you can't make that higher payment that would have been the 15-year payment, you can dial it back to the 30. But in that situation, you would cut, I don't even know, like 12 to 15 years off the term. It would make a gigantic difference.
I love taking on a 30-year and just treating it like a 15.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite hack.
Yeah, and then you got the ability to scale it back if something happens and you need a lower payment on it.
Absolutely. It just gives you the ability to have some creative chaos. No, some controlled chaos. Because if you want to overpay and you want to get your interest knocked or your principal knocked out, do it.
My cousin in Florida just got a 7.5% rate on her house in Tampa. That's a little high, but it's around where the market's hovering right now.
Yeah,
I'd say
it
closer
is.
to the low 7s, maybe high 6s.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like not out of the norm of today. It just stinks to hear still. Yeah. All right, now we got we got it set up. Now I almost exit out to do your. There we go. Okay. Boom, done. Here you go, sir.
We have a question on YouTube.
YouTube question coming in, baby.
David Walker.
David, what's going on, baby? Thanks for tuning in.
He asked it. Interested in hearing your thoughts about how to get into the real estate and investment market.
The real estate investment the real estate and investment market?
No, just how to get into the real estate investment market.
So
just like being an investor.
I think there's two that are really the easiest ways, and this kind of a bonus as a third. One, someone brought up wholesaling. That is a way that you can get into it. You're basically jumping in as a broker between somebody who needs to sell for one reason or another that can't use a real estate agent or sell for full price, and you're handing it off to, for a premium, an investor who's ready to buy cash. That's a more complicated way, but ways you can get into the game, and I see a lot of people get in with wholesaling. Mm-hmm. I think the Burr method or house hacking are my two favorite, like walk into straight up real estate investments.
Right.
Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. I think I got that order correct. It's essentially you're buying a property and then renting it out and flipping it.
Yeah.
You're getting the money out from a flip. Now, the problem is today's interest rates make it tough. So the house hacking becomes a little bit more my fave.
Yeah.
You buy a house, you rent out one side of it, you rent out a room of it, you even buy a duplex if you can get your hands on one, like a multifamily, and you rent out the other side. Love house hacking. The bonus third, I'd say, to get into real estate investing, and this is one that but somebody might be like, and it got me, get your real estate license. Become a real estate agent. Learn the trade. Get relationships. Understand the tools and the metrics and things that are moving the money around. Like, get into it. I was talking to somebody the other day that wanted to learn Italian. You know what the best option for learning Italian is? Go to Italy for 60 days.
Yeah.
Get dropped off in Sicily with no other. Is that a fire alarm?
I have no idea.
It sounds like a tornado alarm.
That's quite loud. Can you guys hear that in the live?
That was ominous, and it only went off once.
I know.
Why did it do that? That was weird.
I was going to ask you something.
I keep turning on BBL Drizzy, the hour-long version, and then it just keeps reverting back to the non-hour-long version.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Well, guys, the lines are open. Oh, and that's where I was going. One thing I wanted to add to the investor.
Oh, man, straight to the lines are open.
No, but when it comes to investing, one thing my wife and I did, and this is just like, it puts you in a lower risk bracket. Like, we purchased our first property as our primary residence. Technically, you could live in it for a year and then rent it out. But then you get the benefit of purchasing it as a primary, and you get the benefits of the financing that comes with that. For instance, you get the lower rate. You only have to put 3 to 5% down. When you buy a home as your primary, you're stating that your intent is to live there for 12 months.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was 24.
No, it's 12 months.
Only 12?
Only 12.
For all forms of financing?
I believe so, yeah.
I thought FHA was 2. But no. I'm resting on you.
I'm pretty sure it's 12, but nonetheless, even if it's 2, I mean, if you buy, I know conventional's 12 for certain, but even if it's 2, I would say you could purchase your first home, live in it for a couple years, make renovations to it. Like, that's what my wife and I did, targeted distressed properties.
Yeah.
got in a better spot. And
Can you
then,
pull that back up? I'm getting missed calls. People are calling the
Really?
line. Yeah, people are calling the line, but it's not forwarding to my number. We're going to fix this, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry your pretty little faces.
So this is our first time going live on every platform. So there's going to be some kinks. We're going to work through it.
Kinks? What?
But, just little
quirks?
little hiccups.
Little
like
hiccups
this.
here or there?
It's all right.
Okay. Don't do drugs like this guy with the cap.
Zach.
Caffeine is a drug, by the way.
Do you need
That's
a
fair.
realtor to buy a house? Technically, no, but I mean, if
Is this a drug, Alani? Are we classifying Alani as a drug?
it has caffeine in it, right?
I guess it's a stimulant.
Yeah.
Okay, but hear me out. Alcohol's a drug, then.
Yeah.
It's a depressant,
Yeah.
right? I'm just saying, if we're going to play, let's play from both sides. Good morning, everybody on all platforms. If you got a question, yes, you can call in. But right now, we're having an issue with the number. We may just have to switch phones and let
That's
it ring
fine.
and let it ring to you.
Yeah, you just got to pull up the
Possibly, but right now it does say I am the forwarding, and yeah, we've had 4 missed calls.
Oh,
Sorry,
man.
guys. Well, it is 2 of them are from the same number, so 3 missed calls. Got the best BBL in history. We're gonna figure it out. Google verified number, linked number, my number, forward emails too.
Zach asked,
Call forwarding. Boom on. All right, we're good.
We good?
We good.
Can somebody test it out if you got a question and you're in the
Nah,
live?
I don't test it out.
All right.
I don't want to just talk to you. No, I do, but I want to ask.
But you got to
questions.
call in with a question.
As a consumer, what are my options? You just got a question. Oh, we got a call.
We got it?
We got a call.
Let's do it.
Coming from Milford. I don't know if this is going to be
A live show.
a live show. I didn't save the number as a live call number yet. I'm silly. Oh, wait, no, this is the live call. No, I'm silly. I'm silly. I'm the silly one. It's my fault. I'm going to save this number. All right. Hello, this is Zachary Foust on the Next Gen Show with Scott. What's going on?
Hey guys, how are y'all?
Good. How are you, my friend?
Good, sir.
Doing good. This is Ethan. We spoke last Friday. I had a question about investing money.
Yes, sir.
What's
into high
going
yield
on,
savings
Ethan?
account.
Love to hear it.
So, yes, sir. So, I am currently in the process of building a house, and my father-in-law is the builder. Luckily, having a hookup, we're going to be buying said house at cost.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of my 15 to 20 year plan is to live in the house he's building now, sell it, continue to buy and sell and roll over equity to the point where my last and final house I just pay with rolled over equity and cash. And I was wondering what the best way to maximize that equity is, or if there is a way.
Well, how much equity are you presumably going to get? Let's put a number to it first.
I assume based off the first house that we build, I assume it'll be anywhere from 80 to 100,000 in equity.
And if I'm hearing your question correctly, you want to know, hey, I want to take that money, make more money with it. What's the best route?
Correct. Yeah, I want to
Buy another property.
To be where I can,
I would say,
and continue to roll over that equity
yeah.
to the point where I don't have to worry about a mortgage payment in 20 years.
Have you heard of a 1031 exchange?
A 1031 what?
Exchange.
I have not.
So that's something that I would look into and do some more research on. It is the ability to defer the taxes from a like investment when you're purchasing another like investment. So if you were to sell this flip, right, you rehab this property, take the funds, you close. Normally you're going to have to pay a significant amount of taxes because that's income coming into your pockets, right? So a 1031 exchange allows you to defer that money if you're moving it into another like investment, in this case, a rehab, another home flip. Can you move it, just out of curiosity, and I don't know, can you move that into a residential rental property? Which I know that isn't the goal right here, but.
Well, are you purchasing this property as your primary residence? Will you be living there for a certain period of time?
Oh, so that
You will.
1031 won't be the option.
Yes.
I misheard that.
Yeah.
So this
Misheard.
is the house that I live in.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, in that situation.
And
Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
I was just saying, it'd be a house that I live in, and then, in 5 to 7 years, we'll sell it, move into another house that he builds for us, and just continue buying houses at cost so that our equity just continues to build and build.
Why would you wait 5 to 7 years to do it again?
Because, well, we'd be right when we do it, we'd be in the process of starting a family. So just kind
That's
of
important.
Gotcha.
giving that time to
No,
relax
I love that.
and then, you know.
And at the same time, man, I think one of the things that you're going to do right there, because that's so important. You
Yeah.
just said, I want time for the family. We're starting a family. That's amazing, dude, first of all. But just the difference in owning a home versus renting a home right then and there. Like, okay, over this 5 to 7 years, yeah, I'm going to be low key. I'm going to focus on the family. But over those 5 to 7 years, you're going to gain equity.
Yep.
Right.
And you're going to be able, like you said, move that into the next property to hopefully in, 20 years, like you said, not have to pay a mortgage at all. And I think that's extremely accomplishable, if not sooner.
Yeah, and the benefit with you having it as your primary is you won't have capital gains taxes to pay. And I would say, in the future, I don't know if you're going to stick to just the building side, but, looking at distressed properties that you can get a deal on and renovate. I mean, there's renovation purchase loans. There's a number of ways to do it, but
Now you tell him to get risky with his money.
what's that?
Now you want him to get risky with his money.
No, not necessarily. I mean, there's ways that you can leverage the financing where you're not out a ton. So it's good.
All right, mortgage lender. There's ways you can leverage your financing. Yeah, he's right, though. I love this game plan, man. And I think it's a game plan that anybody can really follow. Like the wealth plan of simply just owning a property, allowing the equity to build, and then being able to move that equity into another property or investment opportunity. The one thing that you have over most, though, is getting the opportunity to buy at cost.
Oh, that's huge.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if there's nothing else for us, my friend, love to hear it. And is there any other questions, thoughts, concerns, death threats?
No, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Sir, yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Ethan.
Have a good one, my friend. Good time. Second time caller. We already have a second time
I
caller.
love that. Man, I'm going to tell my dad to start building homes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna get my dad out of
Yeah.
the real estate side
Come
too,
on.
getting straight into home
You
building.
need to do this.
We don't need to sell anything.
No.
Stop selling them.
Yeah, just build
Start
them for me
building
for free.
Build. Yeah, actually, I want you to take on all the expenses. Actually, Dad.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Dad. I have a proposition for you. You take on 100% of the expense and labor of building a house.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have it.
It's amazing.
And that's the end of it. That's the end of the
morning,
story.
Spiritual.
Good morning, baby. Hey, a quick route of where you're from in the chat. I'm from Milford, Delaware. We're here in Dover, Delaware. We're getting another call from somewhere outside of Delaware. The one thing I did change somewhere in my settings, it's not telling me where people are calling from anymore. Yeah. You know why? I changed the settings so that we knew it was coming in for this show.
Gotcha.
But now it's a mystery.
That's all right.
Let's go with the caller. Good morning. This is Zachary, Foust, and Scott on the NextGen Morning Show.
morning,
Not
Brad.
morning show, housing something. It's NextGen something. We're figuring it out. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We can't complain.
Fantastic. I could, but I'm choosing not to. What's going on?
I like that.
That's right. I don't think it'll do any good. Somebody's gonna say, "Well, hey, man, don't complain about it." Well,
Yeah.
True
So
that.
look, this one I was wondering. So, as far as location, is there a good place to consider purchasing or building? Because I'm kind of in the air about whether the purchase concept or the building concept is better. Because he just kind of made me think about this a little more. But is that a thing necessarily, like the state versus because like now I'm in Arkansas, which is kind of not where I want to where I want to build or purchase. So, but I was wondering if that makes a difference in terms of.
Well, first of all,
I don't know,
where at in
maybe
Arkansas are you
90%.
from? I'm gonna judge you. I'm gonna give you an answer accordingly.
Little Rock.
Little Rock. Don't hate on Little Rock. So funny story, right? I'm driving through. I have family in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I'm there every year, and I'm driving through Little Rock, Arkansas, and my wife looks up and she said, "Did you steal your logo from Little Rock, Arkansas?" And I look at it and I'm like, "Oh my God, that's my logo." It's literally my Loft Realty logo. You guys can Google it. If you look at my hat and Google Little Rock, Arkansas logo,
Wow.
it's the same thing. But either way, so you're looking to move out of Little Rock, and where are you looking to go to? Are you just kind of open-ended?
So I'm considering Colorado, Arizona area, possibly even Nevada, Utah. Like I want to get further west, but up into the top part. Like I want to get further away from all this water that may come with this tsunami type. I don't know what. I'm not a like what do you call it, the doomsday people or whatever, but I just feel like there's something that might happen somewhere, and I want to make sure that I'm at least in an area that provides me some type of safety from that.
Here, let me
I
grab
don't
our
know if that
tinfoil
is
hats
Do
real
you,
quick.
do you have our tinfoil?
No, I need to bring it.
I was about
need
to say,
go.
I will absolutely. I have a this hat is made out of tin foil. I just make it look like it's made out of fabric. I'm all for that. So, looking into Colorado, Arizona, Utah, price point. Where are you looking to buy at?
Okay, so let me tell you the options that I have right now.
Please.
Which is probably a little weird, but I'm sure you've heard everything. So in terms of okay, three options. One is dealing with purchasing. I'm the person who just asked about with me being a consumer, what are my options? So do you kind of know what I'm talking about there, or am I kind of going?
No, absolutely. Keep
like
going.
a little left field for you?
Nope, you're fine.
Okay, so in terms of consumer versus commercial, like I'm not looking to build to sell or purchase to, do a whole portfolio or anything right now. So as a consumer, in terms of this whole deal with international bills of exchange, are you aware of that concept?
No, can you go a little deeper on that for me?
Okay, so now this probably is a little tinfoil hat sounding a little bit. Just stay with me for a second. Okay, there's no there's no money, right? So this whole deal, I don't know if y'all have heard, but it's been in the wind for a while here. But the whole the 1933, the Gold Repeal Act, and making bills of credit, notes, drafts, bankers' acceptances, all this, making that the money. So that being the only means of payment or exchange that we have. So, in a sense, everybody's been thinking that money, like the fiat currency, I know people hear that all the time, fiat currency is the way that you purchase something, but underlying, there's a system of exchange that's literally only paper. And because we are the living people on the land, our signature is what gives the document life. So in terms of creating the trust and setting it up where the things that you purchase, you put into the trust, like how is that concept relative to what you kind of know about purchasing and
Well, I heard something there at the end of putting items into a trust, and I got to admit, I'm a little lost on the concept of where you're going there. I heard 1933. I lost you a little bit, and then I picked back up on living options and where we ended up. Did you pick up on that? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. Yeah,
it could be
I'm
a
lost
mixture.
as well, but
yeah.
I know your original question. You were looking at building versus buying, I guess, an existing home. Was that?
And utilizing
initial
residential
question?
versus commercial financing,
Right.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then utilization of a trust or anything like that. And do you own any properties as it sits right now?
No, I do not.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say right now with the cost of building and permits and everything across the board, my wife and I were looking at building versus buying an existing home sale, and the cost to build right now was just through the roof compared to what I could get on an existing sale. Like, you've got to buy the lot, you got to do the permits, you've got to do all these things. I mean, with the property we wanted would have costed us 1.2 to 1.3 million to build, and we bought a property for 800,000 that checked all those same boxes. So, just right now with the cost of building.
So consider this
What's that?
relative to those concepts. Then it's kind of like the sky's the limit thing. but not so much because one thing that I've noticed that even with those concepts, everywhere that I've looked in my research, it shows where greed and I don't even want to say envy, but just greed, pure greed and power struggle has been what has corrupted the system of the exchange method. But there is no money. Like we used to exchange in gold or bartering and trade, but now there's no concept of that anymore relative to the open market or what everybody does in the public. So in the private, these are the way the transactions take place. But since everybody thinks this fiat currency is the thing, then people go to work and they make a certain amount of money, and if they're the amount of money they make isn't in the range, then they can't afford it type thing. When it's literally about the wet ink signature bringing the document to life and giving it the validity of currency. And they trade it on the open market in the money market system. You know what I'm talking about? Not really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with, us being a fiat currency and it not being, backed by gold, anymore. But yeah, as far as the question is concerned, I'm not sure. Did you have a question around that or?
Well, I was going to say, is that an option to use in terms of being a consumer? Because the thing was, we could use that if we were paying for our necessities. Now, when it becomes commercial, then it goes into a different arena relative to the actual backing of the bill of exchange. Which
I don't think that's
seem
gonna.
Like it was any different.
I don't think what you're asking is gonna work. To be honest with you, yeah. Just being honest.
Okay,
And
what about Section 8 housing?
In building it, I wouldn't be the person to talk about in the term of building Section 8. But we are getting quite a few more calls.
No, not building.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I gotta admit that call was a bit confusing.
Yeah, that
was a bit all over the place.
She had that initial question and then it kind of went off into.
Well, can we exchange that one real quick?
Yeah.
The cost, you were going into it and then I felt like you got stopped, and I was interested in hearing more of your take on it of the fact of resale versus new construction.
Oh yeah.
Just straight up. What are your thoughts on resale? Buying a home listed on Zillow, listed online, ready to go, versus building your own home.
From what I've gathered, just because my wife and I were looking at building versus buying an existing sale last year, the property that we wanted, that we have now, we secured it for $800,000. And granted, it was distressed, like it needed a ton of work. But had we built that same home in the same location we're in with a lot and having to do all of the permitting and everything that comes with that, we would have been all in at 1.2, 1.3 million, easy. And so that's where.
But does that apply to all price ranges? Like if I were to be looking at Rebel Chick, thank you so much for the follow and come on, appreciate y'all.
Yeah, resale over new construction.
Does that apply to all price points? Because when I look at
that's a good question.
$250,000, let's not even go that low. When I go to $295, like there's a home over in Eden Hill right now, new construction, you can get it for $285, $287.
Okay.
Right? You're walking in a townhome, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet.
Is this D.R. Horton?
Yeah, it's D.R. Horton. Yeah, absolutely. No, but we're talking about equity. We're trying to build equity. This is not a home you're dying in.
I know.
This is not a home you're dying in. You're building it's a brand new townhome. It is going to be alive and well for the 5 to 7 years that you're going to live in it.
Right.
And it's going to gain equity.
Yeah, at that price point, I guess it's a little bit different. We weren't
because
looking
at 300.
at
because at $300K, what are you getting resale wise?
Yeah, you're in the same bucket.
And D.R. Horton, and I'm not sponsored by D.R. Horton or any new construction company, by the way. But I'm not. No, I'm not. I am not. A lot of new construction companies are giving money to have you buy their home.
Oh yeah, and buying the rate down to
buying the rate down.
It's
steering them away from people like you.
Very true.
Yeah, they got their thing. Requires 20% down, and usually there are kinks. It does not require 20% down. That is not true.
Maybe he's referring to building.
If we're building on a lot, I'm
like
talking about a brand new walk-in home.
Yeah, like buying from a builder in a community.
Yes, right. If you're building, I'm talking.
Right.
We're talking D.R. Horton. We're talking about building in a community.
That's my guy.
That's your guy?
Michael Dufour. He's the
Michael
man.
Dufour.
Yep.
What a name.
Yeah.
Michael Dufour, your mortgage expert. I like that. Yeah, no, so, yeah, absolutely. You're building your own home. Can you use the VA new construction to perm loan on builds that are happening on your own lot?
The new construction to perm. Are you talking about
Like because
a
I
VA?
know
I know there's a one-time VA.
there's
like,
a veteran new construction loan.
There is. Yeah,
Is that 20% down?
We don't have that program.
Okay.
So there's an FHA program and a VA program. We do not have either of those. Honestly, I don't know anybody that actually does those loans.
Really?
We have a conventional program.
Is that new? Because I've had 2 people use them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just with the entities I've been with over the last decade, none of them have had access to doing that. So I don't know if it's just my luck or what. But.
2 questions. Haley, I agree. New construction homes between 230 and 300 are the steals right now. That's where we need more builds at.
Yeah.
We need more builds.
We do.
There.
Yeah.
Way more.
Speaking of that, what do you think it's going to take to make that happen? Like to see
Government.
more builds.
There's only one. It's government.
Yeah.
There has to be a reason for the builders to want to build homes of that size.
Right.
Right now, there's no reason.
There's no incentive.
Grandma and grandma are going to buy your 6-bedroom giant house. So build giant houses.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
It makes more sense. Oh, are we on? Yes, we are. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. You were on with Scott and Zach. How are you doing? What's your question?
I'm good. Yeah. So we're kind of in a situation where my husband is getting ready to retire from the military.
Thank you for
We
your
have a
service.
home
I
in
appreciate what
Colorado.
branch?
Thank you. Yeah, he's in the Army, actually Navy and then Army side.
Oh,
So,
love that.
yes. And so we own a home in Colorado that we've rented out since 2015 on and off. It cash flows for $1,000 and it's at 2.25%. We self-manage.
Free money.
And then we
Love
bought
that.
a home down here. Back, right? And then we bought a home down here in El Paso, Texas from his buddy. We were renting it, bought it off of him, walked into equity, like well below, and of course sell by owner. And so now we're debating on when we go back to Colorado, do we buy? In Colorado, I'm from there. It's a crazy market right now. You know, we'd be walking into purchasing more like a $550,000 home. But, you know, we have these rentals. We have the option to, move back into that Colorado home. So we're just kind of in that analysis paralysis.
Understood. So, quick question for you. On the El Paso home, would you be keeping it as a rental or would you sell it?
Yeah. So we're going to keep that one as a rental as well. It's sitting at 4%. And we would cash flow on that one. We're looking at about $500 a month now.
Okay. So, my initial look would say that if you were to walk into a $550K home, it would truly depend on how much you're putting down to see if the money's going to work month to month, because you have $1,500 in flowing money. The home in Colorado, I mean, I would hate to see you sit in a home that could bring you $12,000 in profit every single year.
Yeah. Totally.
I know, right? Like moving back in, that's our thing, is that it cash flows so well when
Yeah.
we move back in.
And if you
Nobody's
buy another
giving you
property,
1,000.
even if you are going in and getting a higher mortgage payment than maybe you'd like, you're still now building equity on 3 properties.
See, that's the rub, right? So, yeah, and we've been using the VA benefit again. We do still have entitlement, but we would have to come with some money down. So, you know, the beauty of it is using the VA again. So, like 3 homes under the VA. So,
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I hear the kiddo in the background's excited too.
And that's a common misconception. People don't know that you can use your VA loan multiple times. So it's good on you for doing that, because it's a amazing benefit with no PMI and just the rates that come with VA. Phenomenal program.
Absolutely.
But I would say, you know, if you're buying back in Colorado, the good news is you can use that lease as well as, you know, the lease that you already have in Colorado to offset those mortgage payments from your debt load. So from a financial standpoint, you know, those other mortgages won't count against you when you go to qualify for the new one. But yeah, I think it really comes down to the numbers and, you know, where that monthly payment's going to be and whether or not you feel comfortable, you know, with that new payment on the larger home. But
Yeah. Yeah, the payment on the new home, your comfort level on that is going to be the determining factor. You never want to put yourself in a spot where you're going to be struggling house poor or anything like that, but it doesn't sound like that's the case. And if you have the opportunity to cash flow 2 properties, start building equity on the third, and who knows, maybe you guys end up, able to pay off the other home and now fully cash flow it eventually. I mean, selling almost always, in my almost now 8 years of being an agent, I've only seen people disappointed that they sold early instead of buying again.
That's the kicker, right? Because we had a home in Georgia that we sold, and now we're like,
Yeah, the disappointment.
The ability to pay off those 2 homes and cash flow in retirement is like a goal. But then
I'm having a bit of a hard time hearing you. Are you like a car? I hear it sounds like maybe a kid in the background.
It sounds like my house over there. That's what
I love it.
So sorry. Can you hear me?
You're good.
No worries, but I appreciate that advice. So
We appreciate you. I'm always a proponent of, if you can afford it, buying's the better option. And Scott's right. You've been renting those properties long enough and have enough history so that it's not just removed from your statement as debt. I mean, you could actually have that cash flow as income, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if you've been claiming the rental income on the property in Colorado, technically I don't know if you've been living in the one in Texas, but if you don't have that rental income claimed on your taxes, you couldn't use the profits as qualifying income.
What about the Colorado one?
But we could use the Colorado one if it's being claimed.
Yeah.
So, but the good news is, even if you're not claiming it, we can use that lease, if it's you're starting to rent it out, when you go and move and relocate, we can use that lease to offset that mortgage so it doesn't count against you.
all right, that sounds good. Thanks,
Love
y'all.
it. Thank you so much for the call. That was a great one.
Yeah.
And also, that sounds like the background of my house, too.
Oh my gosh.
At first, I thought it was like a bird or something like that, and then I realized. Can I also, there's a comment that came in that I think is worthy of considering. What about selling both and just retiring outright? That's an argument. I'd counter, though. In retirement, I want to relax.
Yeah.
And I hear you. Not having a mortgage payment sounds relaxing. Infinite cash flow, though, is a tad bit, in my opinion, even more relaxing.
Yeah.
What do you think? I see it.
I know.
I see it. It's a valid option. Having houses in different states and stuff, I get it. They're also in military. We can't discount that. They're military base area rentals. Typically easier clientele. Military to military.
True.
A lot of times easier. I think there's room for consideration for both options. I like that you threw that in there, HH. HH is a longtime listener. You've been with us, man, listening since the alpha of this show.
Well, as somebody whose basement just flooded right now and the property that he owns that was a rental, I would just be prepared, for the things that can come with being in that position, from renters.
We didn't even bring
the
that up on the
house.
call.
We didn't, but I think it's something to consider. My wife and I did the same thing, and over the last year, we probably had 25 grand in costs between damages and just things going up, which completely eliminated our cash flow and then some. So, it's something to consider, just because you always think it's sunshine and rainbows, but it isn't always sunshine.
Yeah, but at the same exact time, don't you get it a little bit in terms of it's not their home?
Yeah, I get that.
It's hard to
totally,
and that's why I think we need, going back to, I'm trying to stem back to an earlier conversation we had on, there needs to be more first-time homebuyer homes built.
Yeah.
We need more small homes, townhomes, row homes, double wide style home ranchers. We need more of them.
It's true.
Because we have people in rental properties that could afford homes. Almost spit on you there. That could afford homes like a missile. That can't find the home.
Right.
That are paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in rent every single month. That would happily pay a mortgage.
Yep.
And they just can't get into a home.
It's true.
And areas get better when people are homeowners.
Yep.
You know what they do when they try to get like the ghetto areas and the bad downtown areas? You know one of the first things they try to do to turn those areas around? They try to get landlords out and homeowners in.
Yeah.
Because homeowners care about the area.
They do.
They care.
It makes total sense.
They actually legitimately care.
Yeah.
Renters don't.
No.
And that's why that risk, and I think to HH's point in the chat, of being an out-of-state landlord needs to be a considered risk.
Yeah,
I'd
for
say
sure.
a considered one. Not necessarily like you got to go and change your whole lifestyle up, but
Yeah.
again, I think the military tenants is a big deal too.
Yeah.
Military tenants is definitely helpful in that regard.
Oh yeah, totally.
Have you had any other tenant issues that you've dealt with personally?
I think my camera got knocked a little bit.
Oh, did your camera get knocked? Oh yeah, it did. My bad, bro.
Oh, you're good.
No, I'm trying to actually have it so they can't see you. I want the show to be 100% about me now.
There we go.
There we go. Let me get you back in here. Oh yeah, now we're in there. Now we're in there, baby. Scott, the thought is back, baby. That's not your nickname. We're not gonna keep that one.
The lines are open.
Oh man.
No, but
The cue of stop
then,
talking.
if you guys have any finance, real estate questions, please call in, ask your question. In the meantime, I'd love to chat about some down payment assistance programs and what you think about DPA.
Guys, let's call in with your questions about real estate, financing, and investing. Go ahead about down payment assistance programs.
Do you like DPA?
I mean, I think down payment assistance programs are awesome for anybody who needs it. And I think a lot of people need it right now.
Yeah.
I would sign up for anyone that's giving away free money. Are there people giving away free money right now?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of different programs.
Let's talk about the free money then. That's exciting.
Yeah, I mean we have
It's just, I think we have framed the DPA. We
DPA.
need to, they're giving away money to first-time buyers, baby. Tell me about the free money.
Yeah, I mean there's nationwide programs like the Chenoa Fund, the National Home Buyers Fund, and then there's localized state bona fide down payment
I'd love to
assistance
talk about some
programs.
Delaware ones, but let's go through the national ones
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
because Delaware has some too.
So two of the ones we have is the National Home Buyers Fund and the Chenoa Fund. I personally have not done one in Delaware, a DPA program. I know we have them, but I do a lot of them in Maryland, Virginia. We've done them in Florida, a good bit in California. As far as like the state localized programs, because in Maryland they have the Maryland Mortgage Program, which is a fantastic option.
Yep.
The rates are great compared to most DPA programs. They're not as high as most of them, but that's the caveat: is you're getting the free money, but majority of the time the rates on these programs are 0.75% to 1.5% higher than the going rate on the 30-year fixed. So you get the free money, but then you wind up paying X amount more a month in interest, and that's where they get you. So.
And that's, again, back to my earlier reaction to down payment assistance programs. They suck.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to be real. They suck. They suck.
Yeah, it shouldn't have such a financial downside to it. You
Oh
know
my
what I mean? Like
God.
there should be true programs that are meant to help people, and there are some out there. Like
There are ones that come around to do
There
it.
are.
There
Yeah.
are.
There's the FHLB fund in Maryland, which is a fantastic program. The rates are the same as the 30-year fixed options, like for conventional financing. But then you've got the other side of the coin where there's programs that are almost 2% higher than the going rate in the market. But-
Because my argument is here. So I'll put you in a scenario I come in too often, right? Somebody comes up to me, they don't have money in their bank account, $2,000 to $5,000, maybe, not really enough to go in and buy a house. They want down payment assistance.
right.
I tell them, yes, there are programs. You can get $10,000, $12,000, $15,000, 3, 4, 5% of the purchase price in your account towards the down payment, towards the closing costs. Absolutely. But your rate's going to be higher in a market that already has high rates.
Yeah.
As an agent, I'm not advertising that.
Yeah. I get that.
I don't talk about it because I don't want people to do it.
yeah.
Like, it's such a niche-y, like, need.
Yeah.
Like, so for example, though, Delaware State Housing Authority occasionally, and just got done with their program, they at one point had 10 or 5, it was $5 or $10 million to give away free money. $10,000. Don't have to pay it back. You just have to live there for 10 years. We pay it back
10
$1
years.
grand every
Each
year.
year. Gotcha.
Every year, $1,000 is forgiven.
Forgiven, yeah.
You live there for 10 years, yours. Don't have to pay it back. Loved that. Was given that and 5.75% interest rate.
That's great.
Yeah, we were giving that one away. I was yelling about that one. I was like, please come and grab this one. But then it's gone.
It's only a finite amount.
It's a
right?
finite amount. And that's why these big programs, big government, big Fed, I'm not going to get up on a big old like pedestal and tinfoil hat, but damn, we're sending billions to other countries.
Preach.
Why can't we stick one of them bills into housing, into a fund? Because again, when I say, let's put $1 billion in housing, someone's going to be like, well, that only builds 10,366 houses, Zach. That's not going to solve any. Shut up. It's a fund that assists Buyers, I'm talking about putting 10 grand in the account of any first-time buyer.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're talking about hundreds of thousands of buyers that are now able to purchase a home and able to get in that. And you may be, well, if they can't afford a home, they shouldn't be able to buy a home. Nah, some of these people are paying $4,000 a month, $3,000 a month in rent.
Yep.
They can sustain their mortgage.
Yep.
All right. Just because things are more expensive nowadays and they're having a hard time saving does not mean they should not be building equity at the same rate of which they're living in a rental property. Because if they're living in a rental property, all they're doing is throwing the money away.
Yeah.
But the problem is for the listener right now that's like renting a property is like, Zach, I can't afford a purchase. I hear you. We need to have buyer programs that are for first-time specific buyers that don't require any caveats.
Yeah.
And I have a way we can do it, Scott. I have 2 ways we can do it.
Let's
It
hear
can be
it.
done today by the government.
Yeah.
Easily. 1, anytime an investor buys a property, they have to pay a fee.
Yeah.
There's an investor's fee. You're not buying this home for you. You're buying this home for someone else. That's great. But your income's not going to get taxed. All right. You can use the 1031 until you die. So grandma has to pay your taxes. All right. All the tax benefits in the world from real estate. So there is going to be this 5% fee at the beginning for the purchase price. You pay those 5 points. It's yours. Those 5 points go into a fund that is given to first-time home buyers to get their closing costs covered.
Yeah.
Boom. Second way, there needs to be a mortgage program that if they can pay a rent amount for 12 months straight, no problems, on time, there needs to be some form of pre-qualification process for that, for a mortgage.
I agree.
And I think that's common sense. Common sense. Like, they can afford it.
Yeah. That's kind of gone out the window since 2008. It's become so rigid. It went so far to the other side of the spectrum.
There
And it's
has
just
to
like,
be, there has
I
to
know.
be, there has to be, I mean, we're sticking people in $2,500 studio apartments, dog.
I know.
And then saying, why can't, wait, who's blonde?
I got brown hair. Maybe he's talking about me.
I guess.
I look blonde.
Yeah.
But
I
I'm torn about the DPA because my wife and I used a very
The down payment assistance.
yeah down payment assistance because we used a program like that to purchase our first home. Granted, it was in 2014, 2013. So the rate difference, we were at like 4.875 and the rate was like 4%.
Exactly.
So it wasn't as much of a difference.
Yeah, in
but-
2018, I was throwing people in Delaware State Housing Authority like USDA loans, 100% financing, and their closing cost was covered by Delaware State Housing
yeah,
Authority,
at
and they
that
were
time.
getting 4.8 instead of 4.2.
Right.
That's not that dramatic.
I know.
They went from $1,000 payment to $1,150.
Yep. Well, and that's where I'm torn because that
Now they're going from
program-
$2,400 to $2,850.
I know, but that's
talking
where I'm
too
torn
much,
is
my
because that program made it possible for us, and then we sold that home 5-6 years later for our first
Did you have to pay that lien off
What's that?
when you used that
No.
down payment? So it was free money.
It was.
So it's truly free money.
Yep.
Do we have more of that available today?
There are programs like that.
Truly free
but
money.
There's not a lot of them. You know, like in Maryland, we have the FHLB fund, but again, there's a finite amount of resources that go into that. So there's only
Jordan-
so much that can go around.
Yeah, Jordan just said the USDA loan. That used to be the cheat code, man.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Especially in the rural areas, man.
When you got into it, was that like one of your biggest?
Yeah, it was one of the tools like to tell people about no money down because I was also in Harford County. I was very close to Cecil County, which is all like
all
farmland.
rural. Yeah,
and
Delaware
rural.
is mostly like Dover. You can't. Certain areas of Camden, the beaches.
Yeah.
But like all Sussex County, up for grabs.
Yeah, that's
like
nuts.
Jordan just said. Like it was such 100% financing.
Yeah.
You didn't need any military service.
And the PMI was less than half of FHA.
Yeah.
About a year ago, before the FHA reduced
Yeah.
their PMI rates, but
It was
just
such a good loan for all my broke friends that had $3,000 in their bank account, $1,000 in their bank account.
Yeah.
Let's get you a home.
Yeah.
We just need stuff like that again.
I know.
And it doesn't exist, and it sucks. I want to talk about go do this down payment assistance program, sign up for that grant.
Or even a program that, like, if you're buying it as your primary residence that you're going to live in, you get a reduction of X amount in your interest rate, you know, and then this is your rate to make it more affordable for people who need housing and shelter.
I
Like,
want
this
someone
is
to call in with, and this is a separate, and if you don't want this, tell me right away.
No,
but
yeah.
I want people to call in with what they think is the solution.
I like that.
What do you think would solve the first-time homebuyer problem right now? Because who's struggling the most?
Yeah. First time home buyers.
And real things just got entered to win a home by following. Thank you so much. I'm never selling my USDA bought house for less than 3% rate. Oh my God. Yeah, there's so many people that bought a home, 0% down, 3% or less rate, that are never going to move.
Yeah.
Why would they?
Yeah.
I want anybody and you can comment, text. If you're commenting, though, on anywhere other than my TikTok or one of Scott's platforms, I don't think we're going to see it yet. First show woes.
Yeah, we're getting it.
So if you want to call, and I get not everyone wants to call and be live, and we're going to have a texting feature here soon.
Yes.
We are going to have a texting feature here soon. I'm excited about.
That'll be good.
But call in. I'd love to know, do you have an idea on if X was done, the first-time homebuyer's path to ownership would be more possible, more plausible, more just in 2024 a sustainable route? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the number one issue at hand right now is affordability.
Yeah.
And it really dwindles down to not only the home prices, but these interest rates right now. So I think there's an immediate fix that could happen, within the banking world and the government where something could be
What could
put
happen in the
place.
banking world? What could change in the banking world?
And
As a
I don't
banking
like to get
world
into
guy.
politics, but I saw a video from RFK about his idea for this program for first-time home buyers where they get like a
where he's, like,
3% less interest rate or whatever it was. It was a reduction in the interest rate to.
I believe by selling bonds, correct?
I don't know exactly what.
I don't want to talk about it because
But-
I haven't dove as strictly into it either, but I know he had a plan that gave a flat rate or a lower rate to first-time buyers, and that makes sense.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one of the core issues right now, the affordability. People
Month-to-month
cannot-
affordability.
Yeah, I mean, it's just these mortgage payments are through the roof. I have people that come to me looking to buy a $400,000 home. It's going to be like $2,400 a month, right? I'm like, no. And nobody really has an understanding that because the rates have gone up so fast. Home prices have exploded so fast. So it's just, I feel like that's the number one issue. What do you think?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's the monthly payment and the fact that home prices are obscene.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are here, well, rates were high. They've been 14%. They've been 17%. But that's when homes were 100K.
Right.
We don't have to sit here and crunch the math for common sense to kick in. Or other people being, well, credit cards are 22%. The credit card's a $5,000 lump sum. Like, that's nowhere close to the amount of a home.
Yeah.
This is the largest financial asset most people will ever have attached to their name. And having a 7, even 6% interest rate is historically high.
Yeah.
And especially when you tag team the fact that home prices are just more expensive. It's an interest rate. It's a percentage. So the more that the actual amount goes up, the more the percentage goes up.
Yep.
And there used to be a day when that percentage didn't hit as hard because you could get a $160,000 house. You could get a $170,000 house.
Yep.
Now when you're walking in and having to buy a $300,000, bless you. Now when you're having to walk in and buy a $300,000 house and the interest rates double, well, geez, you've just basically now made the mortgage payment 4 times the amount, 3.5 times at minimum from what it could have been in 2018.
It's the truth. I mean, almost 50% of homeowners feel they could not afford their home if they had to purchase it again today.
I think the statistic is higher, maybe 50% think it.
I thought it was like 47 or 46%, but it may be different now. But yeah, I mean, that's glaring in and of itself. I mean,
So to my understanding, and anybody that wants to hit, my camera just went off. I'm going to hit this in a second. Can everyone comment one question for Scott? Just comment one question for Scott while I switch his camera battery out. One question for Scott that has nothing to do with housing or finance.
oh man,
Nothing to do with housing or finance.
nothing to do with it. He's popping the
personal.
battery in. Give us 1 second.
Ask him what shampoo
But
he
yep,
uses.
shampoo. You have to ask my wife. She buys all that. I don't even know, man. That's bad, isn't it? I just use it.
Just open up whatever.
What do I do for a living? I am a mortgage banker. I have a team.
What's your favorite animal?
We're a nationwide team. We actually are all influencers. We all are creators. We put out content online. We all probably have about like 10 to 15 million views a week as a group, and we generate leads through socials.
You guys do crazy.
It's been cool.
How many kids do you have, dude?
We have 3 kids.
3 kids?
Yeah, 3 boys.
3 boys. That's the part that
Can't have anything nice, that's for sure. Jayla, what's my favorite animal? A dog. I love dogs.
What do you do when you're not working? Huey just got entered to win a home. Maybe.
I fish when I'm out working or hang out with the kids or I'm cooking or cleaning up our property because we have 30 acres and it's
I'm golfing.
never.
I'm golfing.
You're golfing?
Yeah. I feel you got to pick. It's one of three things. One of four. You got to hunt. You got to golf. You got to fish. Or you got to bowl.
Yeah. Bowl.
Bowl.
Okay.
You got to pick one of the old man sports. Maybe pickleball gets in there. Pickleball may fit in there as one
It
of
is a
like
little
you
rough,
got to
though.
pick. You got to pick a avenue that's just sustainable for the decades.
Right.
Like I love basketball. I know for my body,
It's no good.
it's not a long-term good thing to play every day.
Yeah.
But I can go golf.
Yeah.
Just gotta get my swing right so my lower back stops hurting all the damn time. But
True that.
other than that, I feel like an old man with my lower back. Join a bowling league.
I know, right?
I love it. I have 7 homes under 150K each, and any Honda 100K loan can't get a loan here. Where are you at where you're getting still 150K houses? Huey, it's maybe. I'm probably not going to end up giving away a house. That's expensive. But it's a funny thing to say. All you got to do is follow. And potentially, if ever I can win a home, I'm only going to give it to somebody who follows. That's just the rules. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, in Hawthorne, there's some lenders have like limitations and minimum loan amounts that they'll lend on. But if you're looking at like a lower, like $25,000 or $75,000 loan, I would look at local banks and credit unions. There are some lenders that will go down that low, but all those small banks and local credit unions will do that.
The phone number is for anybody looking to call in with financial investing questions,
Here it is,
brother.
right here.
Yep, it's down there. As well as if you have a solution to the first-time homebuyer woes, I would love to hear your take. If you know why, or we know why, but if you know how, I should say, and what we should do to get into a place where first-time homebuyers have a shot, I'd love to hear your take. You mentioned RFK has a decent plan.
Yeah, I mean, I think there needs to be something put in place just where they get a reduced interest rate. There's more benefit to them. They get more of a shot because there's just so many people that have been priced out of the market. You
Absolutely. Brandon, like 400 to 450, really just depends. Really just depends. If you're looking to buy in Del Castle, I'd happily help you. Anybody looking, by the way, quick plug, looking to buy, sell, invest in Delaware, I'm your guy. Would love to help you. Just DM me. This guy is able to lend in all 49 states throughout the country, excluding New York high. Then I shouldn't do that. We're on all these platforms now. It's not just TikTok. I shouldn't flick off the screen. LinkedIn's going to be like, what? But regardless, if you have any mortgage loan financing for all 49 states, this is the guy. Are there any grants out there? Real estate in Florida is bizarre.
Yeah, you want to talk about that? Because we've been seeing
I'd
it in
love to talk
Texas
about-
and in Florida.
I'd love
the
to
home
talk
prices are
Yeah.
dwindling, inventory's up,
Yep.
houses are sitting
Yep.
for longer.
Yep.
What do you think? You think that could be a trend that could spread? Slowly,
So right now, specifically in Texas, because Texas is huge, it's
Yeah.
not all falling.
Right.
Dallas is booming, Fort Worth is booming, San Antonio's doing incredible. Areas like Wichita Falls, areas like Austin, Texas, are seeing an increase in inventory. They've been kind of getting icy for like a year and a half. A lot of people think it was due to the mass migration that happened from California that had a lot of political implications.
Yeah.
And also companies that were moving over from California for tax implications. Now, will that spread? I don't think so, because it was really situational.
Yeah.
The Florida thing, though, is really interesting. The Florida thing, if you haven't, and I know you have, but if you haven't heard about what's going on in Florida right now, I entice you a bit to just do some research. Because to me, it's not getting talked about enough as what can happen when these insurance companies just decide, I don't want to be scary, but to kind of do what banks did in 2008.
Yeah.
Just, hey, that's not what you pay anymore. And that's what happened in Florida overnight since COVID, right?
Right.
Insurance
and all these hurricanes.
So here's the big, I'm going to lay it out real quick. Here's how the stars aligned right now to where insurance is now crashing Florida. In 2020, when COVID started, places like State Farm, Allstate, they came out and said, hey, you're not driving your car. We're going to lower your car insurance. Hey, you're struggling right now with your mortgage payment. We're going to lower we're going to, pass on your mortgage, your insurance payment. You don't have to escrow it in. We're going to do all these things. We're going to bite the bullet. We love you. We're State Farm. Well, literally did all these big companies. It's not just State Farm. It's all of them. Limu, the Emu, every single one. Progressive. They didn't know the cost of everything was going to go up so dramatically.
Yeah.
Over 3 years. The replacement values of cars, boats, homes, everything skyrocketed. Yeah. So while they're biting the bullet on 2020's inflation rate, now they're trying to recoup money in 2024. And dude, I've had conversations with people in the State Farm worlds and the circles and progress that are like, dude, we're like 3 and 4 years of increases out still, like planned, already ready.
That's insane.
And Florida right now is getting hit dramatically too, because a lot of companies have bailed out altogether of wanting to insure Florida homes, and the companies that have remained have now charged a premium for choosing to remain in areas like Fort Myers, Sarasota, that have been hit by hurricanes. I'm worried, and I think that needs to be talked about more, because car insurance is going up everywhere. Boat insurance is going up everywhere. And if we have 3 to 4 years of increases in home insurance, and we go from the average in Delaware being $1,000, $1,200 a year to now the average is $2,000, $2,400 a year, we're talking about significant changes to people's monthly payments. Does that lead to people having to sell because they can't afford it anymore because of insurance?
That's a good question.
I think it's something that needs to get talked about more.
Well,
the prices
also,
are insane. I'm telling you, live a 2-bed, 2-bath for $2,300. Oh my God.
It's interesting back in 2009, 2010, if you remember correctly, Florida was one of the first states that started to go.
But to be clear, I was in 8th grade.
Oh, you were in 8th grade?
Were you? How old were you?
Well, the only reason I knew...
You were just in college. So you were fully a part of it.
Yeah, but the reason I knew is because my dad was in the industry, and I was like in it to some extent, where I helped him, and then I got in at like 21. But Florida was one of the first states to go, where home values dwindled.
Well, I know that's where the mortgage restrictions were loosest.
Right.
That's where you could literally have a heartbeat, and maybe you had a job at some point. And they're like, here's some. I think that's actually, if I'm not mistaken, what's the big mortgage movie about? The Big Short.
The Big Short.
I'm pretty sure when they go to see, when like Steve Carell and all them, it's a great movie, by the way,
fun.
and an all-star cast.
Yeah.
I always rewatch them. Like, I forgot all these guys are in this. Like,
and they got them so early.
Selena Gomez has a spot. I'm like, ooh, what? This is awesome.
I know.
Christian Bale. But I think they actually go to Florida to interview mortgage officers in Florida when they're like, we think shit's getting weird. And then they're just like, yeah, dude, we just hand out loans, get paid.
I've actually never watched the movie. I've just seen clips of it.
It's
so
good.
I need to watch it.
It's a literally like a good movie.
Yeah,
it's
when they're in that room and Schmidt. Is it Schmidt?
I don't remember their names.
The guy who plays Schmidt in one of the other series or whatever, and he's just bragging about like what they do. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
it was nuts.
I've seen the clip. Yeah, he's literally like, what's the concern? He's like, are you talking about he's confessing? He's like, no, he's bragging.
I know.
Like it's definitely interesting. So what is the what's the end result of that? If insurance companies were to just, because we don't have control.
Yeah.
If insurance companies did just come in overnight and say, hey, look.
Well, you also have taxes going up too, reassessments. I've been seeing the trend over the last couple of years with just tax.
But Delaware's okay. But let me speak to any Delawareans. We have a law, and I encourage anyone in their state to look up their law. There's only a certain amount that your state or county can gain in revenue year over year prior to the assessment.
Gotcha.
Okay? So if they made $2 million and they can only make 10% more the next year, well, they can only make $2.2 million then moving forward on their tax revenue. So anyone in Delaware who's afraid because Sussex hasn't been reassessed since the 70s, Kent hasn't been reassessed since the 80s. Oh, dude, I'm really serious. Early 90s for Newcastle. It's been a long while.
Holy cow.
There are Rehoboth Beach properties that were still like assessed at $110K in value. Yeah.
Insane.
And a lot of those people were like, oh my goodness, I'm going to get charged an obscene amount of money. And areas like Smyrna, downtown Smyrna got together and said, hey guys, we're really undercharging our taxes. We're upping it all. Sorry. And with replacement costs being what they are, how long are we until town councils and town halls that only meet monthly, bi-weekly, start to realize we need to charge more? We're talking about volunteers that are looking at P&L sheets. They're going to realize late, and it's going to hit everybody.
Yep.
I just think the areas like Smyrna are like the first domino of everybody upping their fees. Because everyone's like, the market can't crash.
Yeah.
No one's going to sell. Well, what happened in 2008? No one thought the market was going to crash because no one would sell. And then mortgage companies came in and changed all that. What happens if in 2026, it's insurance companies.
Yeah. And taxes. I mean, I know Delaware.
Tinfoil hat off.
That's such a benefit for Delaware. But, you know, I see videos all the time where people's tax assessment, their property tax bill went up $247 a month. And then if
where?
I've seen it a couple times in Colorado. I've seen it. Colorado gets nuts.
They must just have terrible laws around what the government can do with taxes.
Also, the appreciation rates in Colorado, just home prices out there have gotten completely out of control.
I also feel like Colorado, I don't know enough, and if anyone in the chat does, about Colorado's politics. But based off their moves, it seems like they're heavy in the finding, how can we get more tax money?
Yeah.
Heavy. Like the moment they could legalize weed, they're like, do it.
Oh, yeah.
Like the moment they can make these moves, and it seems like even with that, like they're just capitalizing on more and more tax by not having a limit on how much they can increase it. Because 246, just a month.
But to your point,
dramatic.
You get smacked with that, you know, in 2 years, and this year you're getting smacked with your insurance that's going up $112 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's $300 to $400 a month, in addition, on top of everything else: eggs, bread. I mean, gas. I mean, just
why do we always go to eggs and bread when we were talking about groceries being expensive? I do the same thing. It's eggs and bread.
It's true,
and I hardly ever even buy eggs and bread. We got an egg lady.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I've had an egg plug for a while.
We got our chicken.
You got your own chickens,
Yeah.
but I got somebody that has chickens.
We have too many eggs. I'm gonna have to bring you some because we probably have like 10 dozen right
Here's
now.
the thing,
cannot
though.
Catch up.
I may not subscribe to that only because I used to be 2 to 3 dozen a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 to 5 eggs a day.
That's me.
But now with like real chickens, I'm like, yo, give me 2 of these suckers. Those things are nutritious.
Oh,
AF.
they are. Oh yeah.
They are rich, and I can't eat more than like 2 or 3 of them.
Have you ever had a duck egg?
No, is it bigger?
It's probably about like twice the size.
Holy cow.
And they're more nutrient dense. So I
Oh,
think they
man.
have almost twice the amount
So you're
of protein.
telling me I need to get ducks, but
Yeah.
they don't lay as many eggs, I bet.
They do.
What, really?
Yeah, I have I'll bring you some.
Well,
so
then
you
why
can
don't
try
people
them.
have duck pins? What's that,
They
chicken
do.
pen?
Yeah, people have
Chicken
them.
coop.
And we have them in with our chicken coop. Like they're just all together.
Ducks and chickens don't mess with. Oh,
Yeah.
I got to. Sorry for almost cussing. I don't want to. I get, maybe I will. I don't know. They do. They do mess with each other.
I mean, sometimes the mallard ducks will mess with the darker chickens, but they run away from them. They'll go up in the nesting box and they leave them alone.
Are the ducks racist, or is this just something
I don't
they do?
even know. I feel like they're trying to mate with the chicken.
Ah.
And that's probably what it is.
That's
but,
fair. That's
yeah.
it. What's up, brother? DJ, my guy. How you doing, my friend? If anyone's confused this week, by the way, if you're commenting and we don't see it, I only have the TikTok chat accessible to me right now. We're going to have next Friday, and we're live every Friday, 8:30 to 11.
Where's the Undertaker music?
Dude, we forgot that. Okay, we had a lot of tech set up this past week.
Yeah,
Next
we'll
week,
get it.
I'm getting some sound recordings.
Yep.
We're going to have some soundboard action. Undertaker, absolutely. My boy Kai Sanat, if you don't know who that is, he's a streamer. I think you said 35?
32. 33. Good Lord.
30. See, you're already getting old.
I know. I'm forgetting my age.
I think,
It's bad.
dude, can I say our difference in age, I think, is way more drastic than what people think. So I was raised, in my opinion, to everybody that's in the chat, because everybody is going to think this of themselves, but let me cook. I grew up at the best time possible for this age. Up until 16 years old, I had to look where the bikes were in the yard to see where my friends were at. I had to, if I want to talk to my crush, I'm calling the home phone and talking to Pops. All right? And only by the age of 17 or 18 did I have a Razr Motorola flip phone. And that is not the dopamine suck of this glass screen. It was not even close. Nope. Not until age 22 did I get that.
Yep.
So I feel that was still young enough, right, to accomplish and learn the techie age, social age, and be a part of it, enough to know it and understand it, not be frustrated as much by it, but as well be a part of the generation that didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
That, when you said, I don't know something, you couldn't look it up. You just had to rely on someone else knowing. Bring your ass to the library.
Good Ask Jeeves.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Remember?
AskJeeves.com.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
You remember dialing 411 to find
Oh, yeah.
somebody?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's all these things that don't exist anymore, and it's dramatically different. It's dramatically different How much does school play a role in property values? Big time. Big time. And especially in different states, I know places like Texas, it can alter home values like literally double and triple.
Wow.
Yeah, like if you're in like, is it Corpus Christi? I think it's the Corpus Christi area in like Fort Worth area. Oh my God, like they are wildly expensive just because of the schools. Because the schools like sports facilities are that of like college.
Yeah.
Pro. It's nuts. Absolutely crazy. But I want to get a call, man.
I know, we haven't
had a call in a minute because we haven't prompted it. We haven't asked.
True.
We haven't said, hey, call and why. And I'm going to put it out there. Call if.
Here it is. It's so hard when I'm on.
Oh, I thought you said here it is
I'm
because you were going to
always
give the call if. See, every time you go to point at
very
the number, you go like this.
Yeah.
And I just feel like you're about to make a point.
What's up, brother?
Exactly. You're like,
he's like, what is he doing?
actually, and you're just pointing at this invisible number that's not actually in the air. For everybody else, it's great. I want you to call if you have a sub $10,000 net worth and you want to grow it. Sub $10,000 net worth and you want to grow it. This goes back earlier with the first-time home buyer, but you may be in the position of not owning a home yet. You more than likely don't have equity if you have a sub $10,000 net worth. You probably don't own a home. You may even have negative net worth. I had a negative. Can I tell you what my negative net worth was in 2020? I'm sorry, end of 2019.
No, I didn't know. What is it?
It was negative $86,460.
Wow.
Negative 86. Dog. Broke.
Now, are you counting like your mortgage debts, or how did you calculate that?
I was counting. I just sold my home.
Right.
And we were sitting on a little bit of a nest egg, but it was debts and everything that lined up, building and growing.
Right.
You know, kind of the initial like, okay, I'm taking the big risk type deal. Someone called based off that less than 10. I like it. I'll share what it grew to in a time frame. I won't share it today, but
cool.
Like what it grew to and how. But it was through real estate. Good morning. You got Zach and Scott on NextGen Homeowners. What's going on?
Oh, what's up? Basically, all right, I'm 17, and I actually graduate today, as a matter of fact.
Dude, congratulations. Can we
I
stop
was
real
wondering-
quick? W in the chat. You're graduating today from high school, I presume, right?
Yep.
That's
Yes,
awesome,
sir.
dude.
Congratulations.
Way to
Big
make
day.
it.
Big day.
Big day. All right, so what's your
Thank
question,
you,
man?
Thank you. Basically, I was wondering how hard is it to get into real estate and build like a reputation as a I don't know, just a reputation as a good real estate person.
I think there's a lot of opportunity in
Like
space.
how hard?
In the space, like especially with you being in the younger demo and you're familiar with socials and how to leverage content, I think that there's a massive opportunity within our industry, because you look at the average realtor, maybe 1% of realtors really push hard on socials.
Yeah, and that's where I was asking, like, are you looking to be realtor, mortgage lender, real estate investor, wholesaler? Could you define like the path?
Yeah.
Like what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to be like real estate. I'm trying to get into like the investing side of it, maybe like own a few apartments, lease them out, start building a reputation, and then go bigger from there.
Listen, I want to hand you the ladder that I climb or clumb. What's that word? I climbed. I climbed.
Something like that.
All right. Here's what I would do. If I could go back in time and not join the military and at 17 years old to get my real estate license, I would have done it. I would absolutely go on the online CE shop, CE Charlie Echo, and do your 99-hour or whatever it is for your state. In Delaware, it's a 99-hour pre-licensing course. Take your state and federal exam. Overall, it's going to cost you maybe $500. Then you get a license with your association and all that. First year real estate as an agent costs like $2,500. But let me tell you this. You sell one home, you get that money back, that's fine. The amount of connections, the amount of conversations, and the amount of internal pressure on you to learn because it's part of your income, dude, it will supercharge what you're looking to do so that by the age of 24, you know all the ins and outs. You know all the people that do the different things. You understand hard money and private money and where to get it. You get what points and interest rates and due diligence periods are. You just get the lingo. You get the game. And I know so many people that are successful investors that started by getting their license. And I'll raise my hand as someone who got their license to become an investor and happened to be like, actually, I really love this real estate agent side of things. I'm going to postpone the investment side, or at least not make it my full-time push. That would be my suggestion, getting the license. And then also things like biggerpockets.com, places like your local investors associations like Delaware's Del Ria. Rest in peace, the owner. He started it here. He was fantastic, Mike Ferris. But your local association, Delaware has their real it's Del REIA, but pretty much sub in your state or county and then type in the same thing and you'll have one. Go to these groups, go to these meetings, meet with the people, start learning. And dude, the one thing I'll tell you too is anybody in our industry, if you walk in gung ho with like your head on straight, they're going to love and appreciate your youth and energy in this, dude, and commend you and probably want to take you under their wing to teach you what they know. I would get in early as you can, get your license, get your feet wet.
Yep.
100%. Yeah, and back to what I said,
like,
you need to leverage what you know. I mean, social
media, yeah.
And the content game, it can
huge.
supercharge your business to a level that, it's just unbelievable what it can do.
Yep. I hear you. Basically, would it be better to start off building connections and then get people to get me into it, or would it be better to just start it? Start myself.
Jump in the pool.
Yeah, and there's even agencies out there where you can sign on with them and they'll help cover that upfront cost of the licensing. So depending upon, and then you have to stay with them a certain period of time.
And then you can look at places like Keller Williams and Coldwell or niche brokerages or EXPs and Reels, the virtual brokerages, and look, who's gonna teach me, who's gonna support me, introduce me to the lifestyle you're looking to grow into. Be selfishly just locked in on being the real estate guy and do it, dude. I would get the license, find out who you want to associate with, and start building those connections. Start figuring out where in this real estate world you want to kind of place your flag.
Yep. I listen. I hear you. I appreciate it because I want to get into like real estate and stuff with my friends, and I want us to start like a business together.
I love that,
like,
dude.
we can all get our licenses, just jump right into it, become really reputable, and then just boom.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. There's so many 17-year-olds that are not thinking about that. There's so many that and let me be real with you, dude. You could start a business with your friends, run it into the ground in 2 years, do the same thing 9 times in a row, and still have plenty of time to start 2 more. I'm so hyped for you right now that you're starting this early. You have the bandwidth to understand I need to get going now and build that reputation. I've heard you say that a couple times, be reputable. That's so important, dude. And again, I commend your mindset. Congrats on graduating. That's a huge day, but you clearly are already on to the next step in your brain. My only, as somebody who did something similar, my only advice is don't put too much pressure on yourself. Life wants you to succeed. God, universe, whatever you believe in, wants you to succeed. It wants your pursued passion to be something for you. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. You're young. You're going to fall. You're going to fail. And that's what's going to make you great.
That's so true.
I'm so excited for you, dude.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate it.
What'd you say your name was, by the way?
And I appreciate the time. Reagan. Reagan.
Reagan, my guy. Starting to build that name. Yes, sir.
Yep. I graduated from Dover High today.
Oh, dude, you're from Dover High.
That's
dude,
amazing.
Local. My guy, man. Well, hey, listen, congrats. And I'm right here in Dover sending great vibes over your way, my man.
Yep, thank you.
You're the man, dude.
appreciate it.
Have a great one. That's awesome. What a
That's
great little
amazing.
left hook at the end. That is Dover.
That is so
That's
cool.
awesome.
What are the odds of that?
Well, I mean, he probably saw that we were in Dover and was like, or I don't know.
The lines are open.
Immediately back in.
Zach hates when I do
Don't
that.
make me talk to this guy.
He thinks I don't
Finally
like
sold the
talking to him.
house.
I like
Sarah,
talking.
congratulations. Sarah, congratulations. I love that. Sarah, I've been trying to get that home sold for a minute. Were you getting your, oh yeah.
I got to get NFM's plug in there.
Yeah, the NFM plug right there.
we
Oh,
go.
yeah. I thought it was in there from
Oh
the
my
get.
gosh, it's almost 11 o'clock.
It is almost 11 o'clock, and I have a listing appointment we got to hit at 12:15.
Ah.
So we will be out of here ready to go at 11:30. So
Sounds good.
we will be clocking it out flat at 11 today, just so everyone's aware. So if you have a call question, concern, death threat, I don't want to hear it live on TikTok, but if you got it, you can call in at the number. Let us know what it is, and we'd love to chat with you about anything that can help position you to be in the next generation of wealth. That's what it's about, dude.
Yeah.
Gen X got the money now. Boomers got the money now. It will transfer.
I have a question for you.
I have an answer for you.
And this is just off the cuff because I was thinking about it. What are your, what kind of vibes are you getting from the market right now? Because I feel like, the early part of this year, maybe we'll come back to it after this call.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get back into it. I like where you're immediately going with that question. What's going on? You got Scott and Zach.
What's going on, man? Hey, my name's Carson. I just had a question for you guys.
What's going on, Carson? Yes, sir.
Kind of related to housing. I'm not too far from you. I'm in like Southeast PA.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
what part of PA?
I'm 22, trying to Southeast PA, Berks County, if you're familiar.
Yep, very familiar.
So I'm trying to buy my first house here pretty soon. 22. And I'm making six figures. It's just, I feel like it's not as easy as it should be. Do you have any advice as to where I should start?
It's a great question. I love how you framed it. It's not as easy as it should be. I agree with you. Well, let's define that real quick. I would love to get a few numbers. You're making 6 digits. Awesome. What are you currently per month making / spending? Like, what's your debt to income? What's going out every single month? What's coming in?
Great question.
It depends, funny enough, because I'm in sales myself, but I'm in car sales.
Okay, gotcha. So then what was the total? What was the total for the year then, if you were to give that a number?
Last year?
Yeah, income-wise.
It was like just under 100,000. I was just at that six-figure mark, so.
Nice.
I do a little rounding up,
Got it. So we're like at $8,500 a month in income. So what's our debt look like every single month?
Yeah. It's I would say it's hard to say because I take on my other half debt as well. I would say around $4,500, $5,000.
Understood.
Now, is that with rent or is that just like car loans?
Yeah.
That's
rent, car loans, student loans, credit cards.
How much of that is rent?
$1,500.
$1,500. Okay, so we have $3,000 rotating debt. Okay. And you said that's taking on you and your girl's debt too?
Yeah, some of hers as well, yeah.
Cool. All right.
And with her debt, does she have a vehicle or is it just credit cards and student loans?
Yeah, pretty much the exact same. Vehicle, student loans. I pay the utilities and all that other stuff included on top of the rent.
Got it.
Gone. Well, that leaves $5,500 in the middle. That pretty much leaves like this 2.5 rule. I would say pre-approval wise, that's kind of get them to like a $2,250 to $2,500 payment, right?
Yeah, right around that level, especially with the government programs. They're a little bit more flexible on the debt to income ratio. So FHA financing.
Price point wise for the home, what are you trying to get into? Or is there a monthly payment that you're more comfortable with? Because that's around.
Ideally, I was looking for like a $250,000 home, but a lot of the ones around here are just, I don't know.
Say it. They're terrible, right? They're awful, right? Say it.
Yeah. And I get like first house, so, it's got to be something, you work on. You're not going to get the extravagant, 3-car garage, 5-bedroom house.
Sure.
But ideally, based off what I've seen around here, probably around $350,000 would be what I've been seeing, something to be suitable for us and something I can see myself in for a while because, at the end of the day, it's an investment.
Do you have money down? Do you have money down for that $350K home?
Yeah, I was looking to put like 3% down because that was my other question. With the FHA loans and the VA loans and the USDA loans, I wasn't sure which one of them would also work for me, but I'm understanding that it depends on the area you're in.
It definitely does. Yeah, USDA is limited to a rural area. FHA, there's no limits there as far as, the area, but it definitely depends on your credit score. So like, for instance, if you have a stronger credit score, the conventional loan may make more sense. So there's a bunch of factors that go into it.
Right.
But I will tell you, at a $340 loan amount, you're looking at a payment around $2,400 a month. And that does not include taxes and insurance. That's probably going to put you closer to $3,000 all in a month, maybe a little over $3,000 at that purchase price level. And that puts you in a position where you're doubling, what you were paying in rent. And I hear you in terms of these houses. The first house that my wife and I bought, we had to adjust our expectations, and we worked on it a lot over 5 to 6 years, and then sold it for our first 6-figure check. So, I think there's something to say about adjusting the expectations to some extent. Obviously, there's certain things you can't live with, but
or a mortgage.
Yeah, and the other side of that coin is your debt load. I think with the $3,000 a month in credit cards and student loans and auto loans, that's very significant. And if there's a way you can cut that down, that would definitely open things up for you.
Big time. Big time.
For sure.
And I think not just the pre-approval side, just more cash flow every single month. As a salesman, I know more than anybody that controlling that P&L sheets, like you said when I asked the initial question, like it varies. Keeping that debt low is just everything. Everything.
Right.
For long-term growth of you as a business and for the home purchase. So I would say this. Moving anywhere and doubling what you're paying per month is a lot. But if you're moving into a place where that's sustainable per month and you are gaining equity, it's worth looking into, but you are skirting the line. It would probably be more beneficial to take that 4 to 5 months to clean up some of the, either, we didn't even get it in the credit score, but certain things that may be on your credit report or other things that are coming in those monthly debts are going to hamper you from being able to buy a home at the monthly rate you want. And yes, you're not getting the rate 6 years ago, but like as of today, to get the best rate, your DTI, your debt to income is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because I go through these same things being in car sales. It's just, there's a lot of things that are completely different and some things that are kind of, cross over hand in hand, which kind of makes it a little easier for me, but there's differences all around.
Yeah. No, agreed. My advice would be cut debt. What is yours?
Yeah, cut debt and adjust expectations to some extent if you can when the time comes.
Lower that debt to income, yeah. I mean, do you think housing is in a good spot right now? Do you think rates are going to go down? Because as far as normally the auto loans and mortgages, they kind of go hand in hand. It's not normal that one goes up, one goes down. And from what I've been seeing, rates aren't really going down anytime soon.
Zach,
do you think housing prices are going to go down or go up? Or
Zach and I have different opinions on this. I think that within the next 12 to 18 months, we'll see rates simmer down to maybe the high 5s.
The government hates us. It's going to be
maybe
8%.
Not. It could certainly go the other way. No one has the crystal ball. It really depends on the economic data and the inflation rate. But I think when the rates do come down, we're going to see a flood into the real estate market, of all these people that want to buy homes who weren't able to because they had to put it on the back burner, which is going to result in home prices going up because of the competition. So,
yeah, my crystal ball has like a big rainy cloud over it. And what I see are two scenarios, right? There's only two. Rates go up or rates go down. And it's over what period? Because you could say, well, rates could stay the same. Over the long period, something's going to happen one way or the other. If you buy a house now and rates go down, your property value probably goes up.
Refinance.
And you refinance. Okay?
Yep.
If you buy the house and rates continue to go up, you sit in your house that you already bought financially able to afford it, and you sit and watch other people pay more per month a year, 2 years, 3 years from then, and you're like, well, I got a deal. All while building equity.
Right.
And then, inevitably, when it does, maybe 7 years from then, go down, then you refinance, consider moving, relocate, and you're in the same situation. You have equity. I don't see a downside, even if, because I had this conversation with somebody who's like, Zach, I don't want to buy a home, or I don't want to sell my home, I should say. What if the market crashes when I buy the next one? And I looked right at him and I said, what if the market crashes when you buy the next one?
Yeah.
And we had a 30-minute conversation around nothing changes. The mortgage payment you signed up for is the mortgage payment. You don't have to leave. Nothing else is shifting.
It's true.
You're just...
Well, and there's also, there's people out there who say, well, if your home value drops, then you can't refinance. That's not necessarily true either. There's the FHA Streamline program, the USDA Streamline program, the VA Streamline, where they don't require an appraisal. and the property value doesn't really get considered. It's about, whether or not you've been current on those payments, and it's just a rate reduction option. They even had the HARP loan for conventional loans where if you were underwater, you could still refinance. So I think, if and when that becomes an issue again, there's still going to be options and ways that you can lower your rate when and if the market changes.
It goes to the long term of wanting to be a homeowner. And if you can afford the monthly payment the day you sign that, and you can keep your financial lifestyle up to that par or higher, then it makes sense to buy a home. If you think that either of those are a no, then don't. But I don't see a world where the home market comes crashing and burning down. If it did, I mean, we're probably World War III, and nuke went off. There's something crazy happening. It's probably more concerning than home value. Yeah. Because if it's getting boomers and all that to sell, we'll get on. Does that answer your question, my friend?
It does. Yeah. It clarifies a few things for me. I think that's really to the extent that I was expecting. So I appreciate it. I tune in a lot to the live streams. You guys have a lot of useful information.
Thank you for that.
Reagan, you're the man. And keep us up to date, bro, on what's going on to, I'm sorry, Carson, on what's going on to, I read the wrong name. I'm
it's
an
all
asshole. For that scenario, because I want to see you get into a home, dude. I really want to see you and your girl get into a home.
Yeah, man. Hey, and maybe, I'll move to Delaware. Who knows?
Oh, come through, dude. Wilmington's a great little, you get those tax. That same $3,000 payment he told you about is probably $2,650 in Delaware, just as an FYI.
Very true.
Just by walking across that line.
I just talked to somebody who lives over in Dover, and I'm a little jealous.
Oh, dude. Oh, just because of the taxes, I'm sure. The difference in taxes is dramatic.
Well, just as a little plug, my team and I are licensed in 49 states. The only state we don't service is New York, and we're on the lending side, so we offer everything available in today's market. We would love to help and at least
and you could pull his report and tell him exactly hey, move this here,
yeah,
do this, that.
We actually have a program called Home Stretch where we can get you on a roadmap to home ownership if you're in a position where you've got some things you need to work out.
Is it credit repair?
Credit repair, counseling.
How much does it cost?
It's free.
Sick.
Yep. So
love it.
We would love to help if you're when and if the time comes.
I just learned about that as you did. That wasn't a plug. That's great. I didn't know you had a free
awesome,
credit.
Guys.
That's awesome. All right, man. Appreciate you, dude. Have a great one. And hey, keep us updated. All right. Keep us up to date.
Absolutely. Have a good one, guys.
I was going to say up to date, and it just came out up to date.
The HARP program, man, that just came out of the deep roots of my brain.
Yeah, I haven't heard the HARP program in forever. That was to save people in 2011, 2012, wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
Those
I was
people
doing
with negative
those
equity
way back when.
Yeah, that was
it's been a minute.
I was not a real estate agent when that was a popular loan program. I was just getting in at the tail end. I saw Carson on the live there. Appreciate you, dog. I saw the tail end of a lot of short sales.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of arguments that short sales are going to come back. I don't think so.
No.
I think there's only a small fraction of people right now that could potentially suffer from a short sale. And it's if you bought end of 2023 at a higher interest rate and you need to sell now. Your home value probably didn't go up, but that's normal.
Or you're in Florida or
you're in Florida. Oh my God.
Some of these areas, yeah.
So what happens when grandma and grandpa can't sell? Because
I feel like grandma and grandpa, they have so much equity at this point. They're probably free and clear.
Nay.
What do you mean?
I have a client, Clearwater Beach. First time I had somebody, right? Because normally when someone calls me, someone's calling you, from Florida, hey, I want to move up to Delaware. Not us. No, not I. That's just you.
I never get calls.
Well, yeah, they know you're in Delaware. It's the government, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about the client in Clearwater.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whenever we get a client calling in from Florida, easy. They're going to sell their home, get a lot of equity. What do you want in Delaware?
Right.
Simple transaction. I have a client right now selling their property for $1.2 million in Clearwater, Florida. Had that call with him 3.5 months ago before any of this kind of popped off. And he was like, yeah, we're coming up to Delaware. It's been 3.5 months.
What does he owe on it?
5 something. He's going to get half the equity.
Okay.
No showings. None. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
And there's 4 other for sale in his neighborhood that aren't moving. It's
cut the price.
Cold. I mean, cold in there. Yeah. It's weird because, so here's a scenario that someone talked about that could be really doomsday for Florida. What happens when $1.2 million person with a mortgage on their property, can't sell. How low does that person got to drop their price for somebody who doesn't, and this is big, isn't influenced by the home insurance and flood insurance market? Right? Because right now we're seeing in Delaware, a lot of people that are thriving in relocation right now are people that aren't really that concerned with mortgage rates. People who are financing much less. So 100, 200 grand of their $600,000 purchase. They don't care about the 8% rate. Just give me their home. If somebody's buying a property, right, and they are trying to buy in cash, they don't have to pay home insurance and flood insurance.
True.
So, doomsday scenario for Florida, how bad does it have to get for someone to come in and say, I'm just going to buy all this shit up in cash and rent it all out?
That's a good question.
I don't have to pay. So the person in cash can afford it, and it makes sense for them to buy it maybe at $1 million. But it doesn't make sense for the residential person to buy it at $840 because they're going to have to pay a butt ton in flood and home insurance.
Which is outrageous, by the way.
I'm mad BBL Drizzy's playing in the background. You shouldn't be. It's my favorite songs. Corporations will probably buy it up. I'm not trying to like be doomsday. I'm just trying to do the math. Prices keep dropping. Investors are watching. Corporations are sitting there with their billions and trillions. You talk about BlackRock and Wall Street. They're looking at it. I'm telling you. And right now, it's the first time I've seen where the residential buyer and the cash buyer would be paying a different price.
Right.
Significantly.
Yeah. That's a good question. Like, how much of a difference would it have to be? 20%? 25%?
Yeah. How bad would it have to get for them to just start treating it like a candy store, just buying it all
Well,
up?
and then it just becomes a trickle effect, like where you have all these different people cutting prices, like, that snowball effect.
The snowball effect of it. And could that snowball effect turn Florida into, and what I guess when I say what better, I don't mean it is this should happen in any state, but is there a better state that should be all rental properties in Florida? It's kind of just like the vacation secondary home state anyway.
That's true.
I don't know. But I hear, and here's the other deal. 50% of homes are owned in cash.
Yep.
50% of home, and it's probably higher in Florida.
Yeah.
It's probably higher in Florida.
Especially
You want to
with
look that
all
up?
the boomers down there?
You want to look that up? See if you can find that difference. And because mortgage-free properties, it's like 48, 49%.
Yeah. Across
Nationally. But what is specifically Florida? What do we think, comment section? Do we think Florida has more homes that are owned outright? I have to imagine. But then I see the other side of the argument that there's a lot of secondary homes, a lot of rental properties that people probably don't want to own free and clear.
29%.
Only 29.
Yeah.
So it's the other side of the argument.
But maybe that's because of the Great Migration, like what we've seen over the last 5 years. So many
Could
people
be
bought there
newer
and secured
purchases.
mortgages.
67%. Yeah, so I think it's the other side. I think there's so many rental properties and secondary homes and vacation homes. People don't want to throw all their money into those homes.
Right.
They're just leveraging them.
Right.
Let me put 10, 20% down and rent it out. Okay. I was wrong. I would have gone the other side of that debate. But I get why it is.
Right.
I get it. Is that up to date, 2023, 2024?
It says that this is February 2024.
Is that
This
sourced
is
by?
just from floridatrend.com.
Florida, that's the MLS. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I would say that they pretty much probably know. So what's the change then? Do you think that Florida spreads to the rest of the country? Let's get back to the insurance. The insurance is very interesting to me.
It is very interesting.
Intriguing.
But there hasn't been this much of a migration to all these other states, over the last 4 years. I think that has a lot to do with it, and the politics.
Can you
and
go
people
into
that were coming
depth
from
on that? What do you mean the migration is affecting it? I'm not following.
Well, we had so many people that were moving to Texas and Florida.
Yeah, but people have been moving to Florida since the dawn of America.
They have, but even me in 2020,
Florida
I was
one of the
looking.
first 13 colonies. No,
Because
because I know we settled the East Coast. Did we get all the way down to Florida? I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know. I just
But-
because in my brain it's just like when I think of off topic, when I think of like all of this time, like the South. When you think of the South, like Georgia and Alabama, I don't think about Florida.
No,
I don't
it
think
doesn't feel so.
It doesn't feel that way at all, right?
doesn't, no.
It doesn't feel when I think all of those things about the South during that time. Florida just doesn't.
Isn't that strange? Like
I don't know.
how
I don't know the
Georgia
history.
And so they have
I
like
am
accents down
awful
there, and then
at-
you get down to Florida, and it's
I'm
just,
awful at
it's
American
just
history.
Florida.
I know much more about our economic history.
Yeah.
I have not dove in past the 1880s. Anything pre-1880s, you could tell me that America did anything, and I'd probably be like, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And 1920s when we introduced the Fed and started corrupting everything in the 40s. I followed that timeline.
The Rockefellers.
The Rockefellers came in. So are they using traditional insurance companies, or are they using a surplus line and having brokerage firms take the risk? In terms of the cash buyers walking in and being able to buy the insurance, I'm saying cash buyers can walk in. They don't have to have home insurance. Legally, when you buy a home and you take on a mortgage, that bank requires you to have home insurance. If you're in a flood zone, that bank requires you to have flood insurance. Over the last 2 years, those have both skyrocketed, specifically in Florida too. Insurance companies have backed out of covering homes in Florida. Yeah. And I had an insurance guy in your seat saying State Farm is still 3 to 4 years pre-backdated, or whatever the term he used, to say we already know costs are going to go up, scheduled quarterly over the next 3 to 4 years to make up for all the money they lost during COVID.
Now, is that specific to State Farm, or is that?
No, he said it's everybody. He said everybody,
industry-wide.
every insurance company in the industry was discounting and giving money back during COVID. People weren't driving their cars.
Does that also count like with flood insurance too? Like flood fall into that? Would that being, because I feel like that's a little more niche.
I don't think that. No, because those companies don't offer flood insurance. You don't get flood insurance for like State Farm and all them, do you? Most of mine people get third party when they do flood insurance.
We have a public, but then there's private.
Yeah.
Like
it gets a little bit more convenient. It's not as...
It's like twice the cost for the private.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's ridiculous.
But to your question, I don't believe it will be... I think the biggest effect is just the home insurance, boat insurance, all the typical insurances. Yep. Yes, the people with the flood insurance, it could affect them, but that's the niche. We're talking about people that lives next to big lakes and big ponds and big oceans. 99% of everywhere else also is going to get affected by home insurance costs going up. It's also going to get affected by car insurance costs going up. It's also going to get affected by every form of insurance, boat insurance. Every insurance is going... yeah.
It's all going up.
It's all going up, man. It's all going up.
We haven't had a call in a minute.
Yeah, I'm getting all doomsday on you. I'm sorry.
It's also getting hot in here, man.
It is getting hot in here.
Can we kick that on?
We can kick it on.
You think it'll be too loud?
No, kick it on. If the air conditioning's too loud, you let us know.
We're hotboxing right now. It's very hot.
I deal with insurance tax. Did the state of Delaware, and yes, it's going up. It absolutely is going up. There's no reason it wouldn't. These tax companies. That's the government. These insurance companies let me break it down real quick for you, okay? If we don't know why this is happening, let me break it down for you real fast, okay? Insurance companies in 2020, when COVID happened, got real scared because nobody was paying their payments. People were scared because they couldn't afford their own bills. So insurance companies are like, look, you're not driving. We'll cut your cost there. You can push it back. Hey, you're not paying your mortgage. You don't have to pay your home insurance either. We'll push it back. Everything. And they lost money. They did it because we couldn't pay as people. Now, when that all settled, dust came to settle and everything was back to normal-ish, everything was more expensive. Replacement cost of everything skyrocketed. Home prices are up 40%, so the replacement cost for that home insurance has gone up. The cost for timber, for roofing, for paint, all of it, way more expensive. Way more expensive. And so now these insurance companies are trying to figure out, how do we not die in the next 5-6 years? They have to up their costs across the board. They can't do it all right now, or people will literally just throw their hands up and be like, I can't afford this.
Yeah.
But dude, if they sequentially for 3 to 4 years up costs, I think we get to that point.
Did he mention like how much of a increase?
No, and I don't think he knew.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knows, because I don't think they would know what the numbers are according to the cost of that year, and there's so many factors. But all he knows is most of these companies are not operating at the profit margin that they typically do, and they intend to get back to that.
Yeah.
Because you know as well as I, during COVID, most companies made a killing. Trillions were made in the stock market, but insurance companies, even though a lot of their company values went up, a lot of their profit margins shrunk because they are paying replacement costs. Nothing we can even do about, because we are required to have insurance with a mortgage. Exact point around Florida.
Yep.
How long does it take prices declining in Florida for cash buyers, big investment firms, Wall Street and BlackRock, to walk in and say, can't sell your $1.2 million beachfront home.
Cash.
Here's $900 cash.
Yeah.
Here's $880.
Well, and then your people who are sitting with 450, 500 grand, they're like, oh, we can still get 400,
and they still get their 400 grand, and we can go to Delaware.
On.
Get out of here. No one's showing our home in 3.5 months.
Right. It's been 3.5 months. It's been sitting. That's nuts.
Maybe 3, because they were getting it on the market when we first started. But yeah, good quarter. No showings. And it's priced similarly to what all the other homes in the area price. Just nobody is buying.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying luxury Florida homes right now. And in a lot of areas. Not every area. I'm not speaking to every area.
Right.
But you look at areas like Fort Myers that were still rebuilding from hurricanes in the past, it's bad.
Yeah.
It still looks like a war zone in a lot of areas. And people can't sell their homes that need to sell them, that need to get the money out because their insurance carrier just said, we're not paying you. What is that person supposed to do? And I know what you're about to say. We haven't gotten a call in a while. Let's get a call in. You were going to say that. I saw it on your lips.
I was going to bring up my question. That question that we had before.
Okay, go ahead.
So what have you been seeing with the market lately? Because I feel like earlier this year, it was super hot. We saw a flood of buyers. The rates kind of trickled down a little bit. There was a little bit of buzz. And then inflation ticked back up. Yeah. Rates went back up to 7%. And it feels like over the last 6 to 8 weeks, that energy has dwindled so much. And I don't know if it's just because now we're in the middle of summer almost. And
the energy around the real estate market.
Yeah, just around buyers and like buyers being willing to pay certain things. Like, for instance, I have...
Why should they?
And they should. Now, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I feel like buyers are fed up. They're at the point where they're not dealing with these sellers that want outrageous, like, who have outrageous expectations. Like, it's simmered down a time. I wanted to get your take on that and what you're seeing. But.
Viva la revolution. Viva la revolution. Like, you're right. There are people that are fed up with it. There's people that are fed up with a lot.
Oh, yeah.
People are fed up with a lot. But here's what I think on housing. There's this thing called price anchoring. It happens every time gas goes up, you know. Gas goes from $2.90 to $3, and we're like, and then prices start going up to $3.25, $3.50, $3.75, and then it backs down to $3.30, and we're like, yes, $3.30 is so good. Well, you were just complaining about $3.
Yep.
So it's just price anchoring. What you're used to, whatever that is, if it's dropped, you're thankful. That's why every company on the planet that sells clothes has a 20% or 15% promo going on, because they just want to sell it at the value they want to sell it to you at, and you want you to think you're saving money.
Right.
I think there are going to be people at the end of the day that over a year, 2 years, if prices don't drop, they're just going to have to be like, look, I get it. I got to buy. I can't just sit and wait anymore. But dude, there are so many people. I believe the number's 84% of the American population cannot afford the median home. It's not like the old days where people were deciding, well, do I rent? Do I buy? There's a lot of people that are just like, man, I can't buy. I have to make significant life change. Get another job. Wife go to work. Hell, get married if I want to buy a house.
Yeah.
And that stinks. That stinks. So I think it is slow across the board for that reason. Does it speed up? Probably incrementally. And I do think we get to 5.5%, 5.7% interest rates, the world just goes crazy.
Yeah, I think so too.
But to your earlier comment on do interest rates go down, I don't see them going down dramatically. Yeah. I think it would have to take something government. So, of course, whoever gets voted in will probably have a lot to do with what happens in the game planning around interest rates. The president does not determine interest rates. Just to be clear, everybody, he does not determine it. I don't think our current president knows how it even happens.
Nope.
So
I don't even think his economic advisor knows, because if you've seen the
we
video,
did see that video. It
we
doesn't
print
determine.
Money.
We just print money when there's problems. What? Regardless, the person that's voted in,
good Lord,
could have plans that could shift things, that could sit down with Jerome Powell and decipher a better plan of attack.
Right.
All that to be said, we don't know. What I see is consistently, we say things are getting better. Things are doing all right. And then investors are like, great, I'll invest more money. Things are doing great. Things are on the up and up. And then by next month, we're like, hey, inflation's starting to go up again. That's weird. You just told us everything's getting better. People are going to go spend their money. And then inflation goes up. And then you're like, hey, slow down. And then people are like, whoa. And then by the next month or 2 months, they're like, things are getting better. Inflation's going down. People aren't spending their money. And then investors are like, hey, things are getting, like, it's the same cycle.
I know.
And then they keep promising, oh, we're going to have rate cuts by the end of the year. Oh, five, 6 of them this year, actually. At least 4. Now, we might raise them by the end of the year now.
Yeah.
It's just these wild, wackamania promises.
Well, to your
And I
point,
hate it.
they've had so many plans. When have they ever stuck
Ever
to one
come
of
through
those
on
plans?
one of them.
Yeah.
On one of them.
Totally get that.
You are on, as soon as it gets off my iPhone, you are on with Zach and Scott. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, actually, I love this. Let me take later. Hold on. I thought this conversation was hilarious. I have it all the time. And I honestly think Jerome Powell's playing like the media game. Like he's learning something from the Kardashians or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Dude, it's so psychological.
It's
it has
so
nothing
true.
to do with our numbers
It's
anymore.
just the words
It's the
that
headlines
he
that
says.
get put out.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Why? Can I ask you this? And I love this conversation. I love your take. Why is Jerome Powell even saying anything? Why is this guy every 30 days giving a take like he just walked off a football field? Like, why are we interviewing this man? Why can't they just make the right financial decisions behind closed doors quietly and the economy just improves?
Yep.
Why do we got to make it an, hey, here's the plan, and then everyone gets excited, and then like you said, sorry. You're right, dude. And we have these conversations too.
Yeah, that's why, like there's a whole sense of I think the back and forth is exactly why they're doing it, just because they want to keep teasing the market to see what happens, and then if there is no reaction, then they might actually do it.
Yeah. I wish I had my tinfoil hats because we would put them on.
Yeah, I rock this tinfoil hat conversation. I 100% believe it is a media game. I talked with my dad 2.5 years ago, and I said, I wonder if they're going to take this opportunity to jack up the market, but over a long period of time. And they're just going to keep throwing the carrot in front of our face. They're just going to keep throwing the carrot down,
kicking the can down the
kicking the
street.
can down. Oh, it'll get better. It'll get better.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, just slowly siphon the money from one generation to the next.
Yeah, makes sense. Just kind of kicking the bucket down the road.
Or the bucket. That would hurt my foot, though. I think a can is easier. But did you have a question? Did you have a concern? Did you have a take in on this, my friend? I love your mindset around this. I think you and I'd be friends.
I just thought it was funny because I hopped on and I heard you guys talk about it, and I've literally been starting to tell everyone that this is my view. Like, this is a complete media game. They're just getting everyone set up and trying to hype it all up and never do anything because they're not going to. We're never going to get that 1 point drop. We're not going to see that. Like, this is the new normal, and people are just going to slowly accept it, and that's what's going to happen.
We're being gaslit. That's what it is.
Yep.
I think we're being gaslit. That's a great take, my friend. That's a great call, and I'll leave it off there. Thank you for calling, my friend. Appreciate you. And I completely agree. No tinfoil hat needed. That's a great call. That's a great point. What if?
Yeah.
This is just the psychological game of finance. We have enough economical data from 80 years of our economy to know how things move and how the strings that operate the system.
It's true.
We're a minute past our end time, sir. Final takes.
Man,
I'm going to give a tinfoil take real quick, but we're getting a call. I'm going to have to decline it. Next week, it's 8:30 to 11. We may extend a little bit next week. We'll see. But this was our initial run on all platforms. How do you feel?
I love it. I thought it was great.
I have no clue if any of the
I've been trying to
platforms
keep
go
track of all the comments on the other platforms, but it's been tough. So we'll have to come up with a system for that next time.
Better system. I
we'll
looked
figure
over
it
my
out.
Instagram and there were 87 comments, and I was like, oh man, we didn't see one of these. So we will get better at this. My friends over on LinkedIn, if anyone's typing in via Twitch, anywhere, I see all my friends on TikTok.
Thank you, Jordan.
Jordan, appreciate you.
you, man.
Mahomes got in late. Yes. We will also, I'll be going live next week twice, going live on Making Calls. Next week, we're going live once again here, 8:30 to 11 on 16 different platforms.
Yep.
And then next week, presumably, slightly better than this week. I don't know where those adjustments will be made, but we're always improving.
Yep.
Always improving. We're coming for you, Dave.
Pioneering a new way.
We're coming for you, Dave. I'm looking at you. Looking at your old ass, wrinkly Ramsey ass face.
Dave.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, Dave. Just Dave. He doesn't deserve his full name on this show.
Yeah, just Dave.
Just Dave.
That's it.
See you guys.
Thank
Have
you
a
for
great
tuning in,
one,
guys. Have a good
We're
weekend.
gonna tune on out. Can you sing them out real quick?
Where's that outro?
Yeah, is that it right there?
That is not it.
That's not it. What about this one? What about this one? Is that it?
That's the one.
There it is. You guys sing it?
Bye, guys. I don't need to do that because we have all the wall. That was it. That was awesome.
What's up, man?
That was great, man.
Yeah, I love seeing these things.
Are you serious, dude? We could. Damn.
Oh, there was LinkedIn. Fuck. And Twitch.
No way. That was the one that we had gotten on my YouTube. So he must have hopped over and.
All right. Well, hey, that means on those platforms, hearable, visible, watchable.
Yeah, that's right. That's a win.
I did see what it's. Yeah, but I don't. That's what it is.
Yeah, and mine showed like 700.
Possible. Our receipts. And that's not actually possible. Just our receiving it. Let's go smoke.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do it.
Oh, that was great, dude. I'm happy about that. Flowed well, dude. I also, I'm gonna be honest. Next week I want to try it.
Let's do it.
I want to try it. I think we flew around just 2 random questions we came up with on the fly that both I was like, these would be fire. We really put some thought into that juice.
I was surprised.
You had $10,000 right now. What are you investing it in? All in with your answer. It could be 10. I'm not I don't know, because I think at the end of the day, it is the best investment. Really. It's hard to argue against it. It's an easy pathway. Like, oh, that's. Rams. Financial, not just we're financial forces that make our money work, right? But if we're financially trusted individuals, like they're gonna trust us with working with an agent. You gotta work.
sign that'll just